All right. And we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy Travis on that Thursday evening Destiny campfire. How we doing, gentlemen? Ebontis, start with you. How we doing?
Doing good. I am excited because I finished Dark Souls 1 completely, ended up with like a plus 15 weapon, and I didn't do the DLC, which is fine. I read about some of the DLC, and honestly, it's like sad since after I had to fight Sif and everything. So got to experience
nice, though.
Yeah, I was like, it's cool, but got to experience Dark Souls 1. So I played Demon Souls 1 or Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Neo 1, Neo 2. Like, this is all of them. And Elden Ring is finally my time. So that one I'm going to be streaming most of the weekend, like Friday after my Zur video, and then Saturday. Nothing but Elden Ring until I can't see straight. That is my goal.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I literally booted up last night just to check to see, and they actually just patched it yesterday night as well. So it should be running a little better. So I booted up just to see what it looked like, ran around the tutorial area real quick while I was like recording and streaming, made sure everything looked good and smooth. So I'm like insanely pumped for tomorrow because I've basically only seen a couple bits here and there on Twitter. Seems to mostly be the opening
he's
area.
been edging.
And I'm 99% blind going in, and I'm thoroughly excited. So that's where I'm at.
Oh, yeah.
Which platform? Just curious before you pass off.
PC. Yeah, I'll be playing it on Steam.
He's on PC, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Cool,
it's like
cool.
being able to just if a game is available on PC for me to be able to record, stream, and everything, it's not like consoles that difficult, but it's just all in the same platform. Like, honestly, for something like this, I should have enough hardware to play it how I want to, which is the exciting part. But the 5 second after going literally from Dark Souls 1, turning it off in the same day, and then turning on Elden Ring for 5 seconds, I was like, oh, 60 frames, crispiness. Like, it doesn't even feel remotely the same. So yeah, I'm pumped. Travis, what about you, man? I think I know what you've been doing. What have you been doing?
My Elden Ring journey has been hilarious because I'm also doing it 100% blind. I'm 80 hours in and I haven't killed a single main boss or done any of the main areas. I've been doing everything in my power. I'm level 120 and I've done nothing productive in the game. I've killed like 70 bosses, but none of them are like important.
All the side stuff that I hear about, yeah.
Yeah, anytime somebody tells me to go somewhere, I'm like, no, I don't want to. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want somebody telling me what to do. So it's been really funny, but I am getting to the point where it's like, all right, Travis, you should probably do something in the main story because you're running out of things to do. But I feel like I haven't even played the game yet and I'm 80 hours in. But yeah, this week I've been catching up on Destiny, and I'm working on a game review that goes live next Wednesday, which is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So almost all the way through that, and
that is basically like Borderlands 3. I think styling and probably maybe an engine update, but truly a standalone on its own, right?
Yeah, it is a standalone, but it's based off of the DLC for Borderlands 2, where it's like a D&D board game, and so it's got lots of references to tabletop gaming, and it's got a more fantasy vibe and a very clear like fourth wall breaking, even more than Borderlands usually breaks the fourth wall. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, enjoying that so far. Have the review up next week, and it's been busy, man. It's been a busy couple of days. You guys catch that Harry Potter thing?
We can talk about that in the end because definitely want to talk about that in the end. That was quite cool. Cog, what have you been up to,
Lots of
man?
exciting stuff going on.
Yeah, tons of exciting stuff. Yeah, just been Destiny, man. Been the grind, getting back into it, just doing the minutia of the builds. Right now I'm having so much fun with Void 3.0. It's ridiculous in PvE and just being with volatile rounds and wells all day and doing all that stuff. Got to raid with Travis and had some interesting, funny, hilarious moments with Trav and the crew. And, signed call-outs and people.
It was a really bad crew. Really bad.
Very motley bunch of chiefs. You know what's funny, E? I let the Chiefs talk it out, right? Because it's clear that there's not consistency. And what was funny, the best part of it is hearing Travis's frustration rise. Like
Here's the thing. You know it's bad when Cog and I are in the party and neither of us are talking because everyone else is fighting. I have never seen
guys are quiet. That is actually
we were quiet,
shocking.
And everybody else was talking over each other about the best strategy. And the Cog was fine. He was just chilling, but Cog was also only there for like 1/4 of the raid. I was there the whole time, so I had to like watch this thing unravel. I had just unraveled over the time. I was like, dude, this is like easy. Like we all know what to do. You guys are all fighting over. Oh, here's the best way to do the most DPS. I'm like, guys, we're not beating the encounter because you guys are fighting. And it was really bad. Really,
it was great.
Bad. It was great. Terrible raid group. But I'm glad you were there, Cog.
It was awesome. I was there for all the smoke. But other than that, just been really rocking, man. And we'll get into the story stuff and all that. But look. We got a very special guest. Oh, yeah, we're going to get into that story stuff. Yeah. We got a very special guest who's been patient through all our banter, E.
Indeed. So let's bring him into the campfire. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 189. This week, Lord Saladin was in rare form as we got to see one of his best moments in Destiny yet. And the future of Iron Banner is intriguing, to say the least. To discuss all things gaming and Destiny, this week we have a gentleman joining us from the land of royalty, the United Kingdom. This man has been gaming longer than many of us have been alive because I assume many of you don't even know what Intellivision even means. In his early years, he was a platformer extraordinaire, but it's been nearly all Destiny since that journey started back in Rise of Iron. A legend in the Sherpa community with over 1,000 Grandmaster clears and countless raid carries, he is a master of PvE and has the seals, all of the seals, to prove it. While he may rage loudly when he plays Crucible, and I mean really loudly, he got to Legend Comp as a solo player, so you know he can click heads when pressure is on. So let's welcome a man who has been to Ibiza so many times they know him by name, can cut a serious rug on the dance floor, has the most epic callouts from his practices in the bingo hall, and his list of celebrity cameos for his merch spots is rather impressive. He is the creator of the Care Home Clan for the Old People, diehard fan of Manchester City, freehand graffiti artist in his off time, and likely drinking some Oasis in between wipes during another raid carry. Coming off what is likely another 12-hour stream, and fits perfectly into the campfire as both a Titan and a Warlock, the one, the only, GrandadGaming. How you doing, sir?
Oh, flipping heck. Can we end it there? That was marvellous.
Put it on the tombstone.
Very well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
That's... we have a program. Well, we used to have a program in the UK called "This Is Your Life." So, that felt like that was brilliant. Yeah, I'm doing very good, very good.
Definitely one of E's best right there, man. Good to have you at the Destiny campfire. Look, it's always refreshing as an older gentleman myself. It's always refreshing to have someone, that we could talk about some consoles and some stuff. So I got to get right into it, man. You got some classic history, man. Talking from the arcade days and then Commodore 64 and all that good stuff. So like back then, what was just, I'm just curious about what kind of just drove you to gaming. Was it the arcade scene first, or kind of was it like the Commodores, the Ataris, the Colecos, and all that kind of stuff first?
It was in television first, what he mentioned, and that was just basically my dad brought one home one night, and I just remember getting really into this game called Lock and Chase, which was, it was sort of like a Pac-Man
ripoff. The Cops
and
and Robbers one?
The Cops and Robbers,
that was it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember like clearly getting to a certain level after playing it for beating my sister on it. That was the main reason I was enjoying it, because I was better than her. I'd say she was 4 years older. But I remember getting to this level in it, and everything sort of changed. And I can't remember if it was a boss that came out or something, but the colours changed on the screen. It felt special. Do you know what I mean? And then after that, it was like hanging around with mates and going to the arcade, and then playing games like 1942, Ghosts and Goblins.
Yep, I remember those.
Real Dark Souls. Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, that's an evil game. Seriously.
Talk to him.
And Dragon's Lair as well. I always remember that, but I could never work it out. It was just like, it was cartoon graphics, but in them days, you just wanted to jump on and, get right into it. But I think with Dragon's Lair, you had to like read things, and actually sort of react to stuff. And it wasn't for an 11-year-old me, that definitely not. But then,
how many raid completions do you have in Lock and Chase?
How many what?
How many raid completions?
A lot. It's going to say a lot. I haven't got a clue. Yeah. Imagine. Yeah, I did go back and watch on YouTube. There's a Lock and Chase playthrough, And I was searching for that bit that I can still remember it in my mind's eye, but I was searching for it and I thought, this isn't changing. So I don't know what actually happened. But I can definitely remember something changing in the game after I'd got to a certain level. But I watched that playthrough and I couldn't find it. So, but yeah, I can remember completing Jet Set Willy. That was a big one. And the thrill of being in the arcade as well and getting your high score on the for everyone to see, but you can only put 3 letters in.
Yes.
The joys of the 3 letters.
I can put Cog.
What are your guys' tags? Let's hear some initials. What do you guys do? Obviously, Cog, you probably do COG, right?
Actually, it wasn't
that
because
far back. I thought you were Cognito, yeah.
Yeah, Cog didn't exist at that time. So I think it was like B and then ZO or something. Like it was some weird 3. I think it was like BZO. I used to always go with that.
Nice.
But what were your 3 letter scores? What would you go with, Travity? What y'all go with?
TIE.
TIE.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, you was always
even
TIE.
when I was younger. Yeah, I was always TIE. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I probably did like initials or something. This was like E and who knows what. But yeah, I was like, I don't think I was too creative at that point. I wasn't doing like anything stupid like, ass or anything that would fit there. There's not too much that goes there. I mean, people like, there's jokes where you can get multiple scores and try and build words, but no, I never got too creative. I was probably too much of a goody two shoes when I was younger, so.
Nah, you good.
I used to always put LIL for Lil J. Because that was my like.
Nice.
I was into breakdancing as well, so me like.
Oh, you was popping, you pop locking it. Oh, you was okay with the graffiti. Okay, I
you didn't notice the graffiti in the back, Cog? Come on, man.
Because some people is about graffiti, but then it's a culture, it's a lifestyle, it's more to it. I don't know if some people go as deep with it. So when he said that, I'm like, oh, he's official. He's really about this.
Yeah, he's head spinning for sure. He's out there.
Yes, he's doing a windmill
breaking.
The reason I got into the graffiti was that I was quite good at breakdancing, and I attempted this move one day, and it was I was like lay on my back, and my 2 mates had my legs, and then they flipped me over, and I spun in the air like backwards, but I landed wrong, and I landed on the back of my neck.
Oh.
And my bottle just went, as we say over here. After that, I was too scared, try moves and stuff, and I thought, because there was like 4 main cores to hip hop. It's like the breakdancing, the MCing, the DJing, or the graffiti.
Yeah, that's hip hop right there.
Wow, you're so OG. This is like when keeping it real goes wrong.
Definitely couldn't rap.
Yeah, talking.
I couldn't DJ. And I thought, graffiti, yeah, that's for me. And because I quite like the danger of it as well, because in them days,
in them days, you weren't supposed to be at certain places doing certain things, tagging in certain locations. You was by the underground, certain little King's Cross, little spots in London.
I caused my parents a lot of earache.
So you are Banksy? Is that what we're learning here today?
Oh, I don't know. No. I don't use stencils.
Banksy's he doesn't know.
A swear word.
The word is still out on him being Banksy. We don't know for sure.
I would say that, wouldn't I? That I'm not him, but yeah, Banksy's he's not liked in the graffiti like culture that I come from, because there's a lot of things that have gone on with him, and a lot of like he's gone over a few pieces of like historical graffiti in London. So there was a big sort of like battle between him and another graffiti artist called Robbo, who we call King Robbo, and that all blew up in like the 2015, 2016.
I love this.
This is fascinating.
This is so great.
I said it as a joke, and like he's actually got beef with the dude. It's hilarious.
He had beef with the dude. It was smoke. It was like, yo, what you doing over here with them tags, bro?
But the thing was that was when social media first started, because we all forgot about everyone and each other. Like, you got to understand, when the graffiti movements died down a little bit, it was sort of 1988.
Yeah.
So all these kids you grew up with, and I was in a crew called MTV, which was stood for More Than Vandals if we were doing legal stuff. But if we were doing the illegal stuff, we changed it to Mad Transit Vandals. So it was a double thing. But we were a worldwide crew. We had members in all over Europe, in America, in Australia. But then when we all stopped doing graffiti, we never heard from anyone. And then Facebook was invented, and suddenly these graffiti groups started popping up, and we all got back in touch. It was
That's
brilliant.
cool.
That's cool.
Then I started doing it again because I'd not painted for 20 years. I did that art as a job, but not graffiti art. So it was good to get back into it.
It's one of those rare moments where like social media actually had a cool moment where, you know, people had fallen apart and then finally actually got to reconnect. But it sounds like we people could sit down and just listen to story time with Granddad Gaming over here. So
for sure.
Oh yeah. What you got, E?
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of got into the graffiti stuff. That was going to be my question. So the next piece, I guess, goes into just like how, I mean, so you obviously graffiti was a big thing, but you took a break, and it sounds like the same thing happened in gaming, that you know, into all the older consoles, platformers, Super Mario World, like all the older ones. And then there was this like break from basically, it sounds like SNES almost to, was it like Xbox and Crackdown and Division? And there's this break in there. What, is there anything specific that made you like stop gaming? You know, if there was any cool stuff besides all the crazy stuff you just described in the middle. And then also like what kind of pulled you back in? Was it someone? Was it a game? Was it just like picked one up and kind of tripped into it? How did that gaming transition go on both ends?
Well, what made me stop mainly was I discovered ladies. I discovered nightclubs.
That's the best answer I've heard on this podcast.
That was fire.
That is the best one.
It's a cool discovery.
You're like, what happened? I came to the age of puberty.
Yeah.
It's a pretty quick killer of video games for sure. I've lost a lot of friends to ladies. Trust me. Yeah.
Yeah. I discovered the hedonist life maybe, and also I had a child very young as well.
Gotcha.
But I had like, so I sort of like when he was born, I calmed down a bit. But then when me and his mother split up, I ended up going back out and partying and stuff. But I think my partying years, mainly because of the job I had as well, because the advertising industry in the 90s, it was not for the faint-hearted. Do you know what I mean? You used to work hard and play really hard as well. So I can remember you'd finish on a Friday night or whatever time, and then you'd be lucky if you got to sleep again till, from till Sunday. So yeah, I didn't have time for gaming. Yeah. But then what happened was I had a little bit of an accident, and I was in hospital for, I think it was about 5 weeks, something like that. And my friend had been bugging me to get an Xbox, and I was like, I'm not playing games. Games are for kids. Carl plays games. I'm not playing games. But then when I came out of hospital, I couldn't go back to work straight away. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get myself an Xbox while I'm sat at home doing nothing. And the rest is history.
Wow. When women weren't an option, you came back to me.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I was like, this is brilliant.
Like if you hadn't touched it that long, that's probably a huge transition. Super Mario to Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And like when Red Dead Redemption, when I had my first go online in that, I couldn't believe that I could hear other people, and because you had proximity in that, so you could sort of hear people. And at first, it made me jump. You know what I mean? I was like, I've got a burglar. Do you know what I mean?
Who's in the house? Who's in the house?
What's funny is Red Dead Redemption, I believe, is the sequel to Lock and Chase. So you really didn't miss much.
Exactly.
You got the exact follow up there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Trev, what you got for him?
Let's talk about Destiny. So you've been out of the game for a while, out there just tearing it up in the world of ladies. So that's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
some of us are still working toward it. Really.
Yeah.
I was actually just trying to get Cog to choke on his drink, to be honest with you.
Mission accomplished.
In some ways, I wish I was still working towards it. Believe me, bloody hell.
Shots.
But yeah, so you come back, and it sounds like you probably missed the whole advent of the shooter genre. So you missed quite a bit of that. The shooter genre didn't really exist when you started playing games, and then all of a sudden it's here. So what drew you to Destiny? Presumably not having a relationship with Bungie beforehand, or having played any of the Halo games. It sounds like you missed probably a lot of those.
No, I missed all.
Yeah.
That,
So what was your kind of gateway drug to Destiny, or how did you get led there?
It was Division. I met.
Really?
Yeah. I was playing Division. I got really into Division, like the builds and everything, and I was doing the one of the incursions, which are like mini raids.
Oh yeah.
In Division called Dragon's Nest, I think it was called.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And on LFG, I met this guy who I'm still in a clan with now, and he invited me to an Xbox party, and he was doing so much damage to the bosses, and he gave me advice on builds and stuff, and this little perk in Division called Damage to Elites, and I remember it's clear as day. I met him on the Wednesday night, and I was going to Ibiza the next day. And I remember thinking, shit, I hope he's still around when I get back. Yeah, I can learn a lot from him about builds and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, come back from Ibiza, and he was still there. As soon as I went online, he sends me a party request. And so to cut a long story short, once I was done with Division, and it was going through a bit of a slow patch, he said, have you ever tried Destiny? And it was just before Rise of Iron came out. So we had the Destiny, the collection. So I got everything, all the expansions plus Rise of Iron. But Rise of Iron was still 2 weeks till it was it was released.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so I had like Taken King to go through, House of Wolves, all that sort of stuff. And that's what hooked me, really. I think Division got me into looter shooters, and Destiny stole me. That was basically what happened. But I did have a brief stop off with Warframe. I put so many hours into that.
Nice. It's a great game.
Brilliant. If I'd still play it now, probably if there was cross save between Xbox and PC. Because now I'm on PC, I won't go back to Xbox. I did for a little while, but
cross save would do. It's not an easy thing, I get, but cross save would do a lot of games, a lot of good too. As you just said right there, like you would jump in every so often to make it like maybe a 1-day stream if you could just pick up where you left off and not have to start over. Because Warframe is nothing but hours, so there's no way you want to do that again.
Yeah. Mastery rank 28, I got up to on Warframe, which was quite high at the time. That was the highest you could get into. I think I think you can get higher now. Well, you can do, but they are supposed to be doing it. It was supposed to happen with this latest expansion, but for some reason it didn't happen. But I think it will happen this year. It'll be become cross save or cross play.
Yeah,
but,
they need it.
They have a lot of PC exclusives though, the calendar of content for PC. I think it's 8 weeks in front of console, so straight away you got issues there. But that's for digital extremes to sort out, isn't it? Not Grandad Gaming.
Indeed.
No doubt. So now you're getting into Destiny. So like you're playing so I'm assuming you get the collection. You're playing in sequence. I'm gonna assume, right? From going from regular, then probably what was the Crota expansion? The Dark Below, right?
Oh, Crota's End.
Dark Below, right? Crota's End was the raid.
Crota's End, and then you're doing Curse of Osiris and all that good stuff. But what was the moment?
Curse of Osiris was D2. Right?
Curse was D2.
I mean, what was the second one?
You're thinking House of Wolves.
House of Wolves.
Yeah.
Taken King, Rise of Iron.
Taken
That's
King,
it for D2
Rise of Iron,
or D1.
right. D1.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, like, what was the moment? I want to say, whether it be gameplay wise, whether it be a dungeon, a raid. I mean, I'm assuming not PvP based on your history, but like, what was the moment where you're like, okay, I love this game. Like, this is the game for me. Like, what was it? What was the activity? What were you doing? Take me back.
Yeah. Wrath of the Machine.
Mm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's
Let's go.
even the Outbreak quests where you had to do the
Binary.
stuff. I was just like, this is amazing, because obviously Division with Division there was always like that limitation, wasn't there? Because it was real
shallow.
life.
Yep.
Because it was
exactly.
It was like humans. You want
Shoot the guy in the hoodie 12 times. We know. Slander them.
that's
Continue.
all. Yeah, standard stuff. You know what I mean? Blokes walking about with big fire things on their back, shooting fire out. Normal life. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I think there's someone out there. So we can see some fire. No, but you know what I mean. So, like, just the graphics and everything. And obviously not the storytelling of Destiny, because I was never, even though I got Max Grimoire. I think I got Max Grimoire on Destiny 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I did. But I wasn't, even though I've got all the books, I didn't delve into the lore that much. It's only recently I've started getting into the lore since Witch Queen, because that grabbed me. I thought I was always wanting to skip the cutscenes. It didn't interest me. I know. But
I don't blame you.
Honest.
I was like,
I don't blame you for
D1 storytelling was a different animal than D2. You skip them.
Yeah.
You skip them this week, I'm gonna be mad at you. You skip them back then.
No.
That I won't hold too much against you.
So
I think since Splicer, since maybe before I stopped skipping them, I sort of knew what was going on, but it was only sort of half an eye, and now I've got 2 eyes on it because I think it's brilliant.
Yes.
Really.
It's come a long way.
Yeah, some of them cutscenes for Witch Queen, and I'm known to have a swinging brick as a heart. You know what I mean? I don't get emotional easy, and that made the old hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Some of them cutscenes. The one where she was dying and she just drops down on the edge.
The cliff.
Yeah.
That cliff is. That's
Brilliant.
That's an epic one.
Did you feel sorry for her a bit though? Because I did. I was like,
That's. I mean, I think
I still feel sorry for her.
Yeah, I mean, I
feel
think
like
that's,
she didn't get a chance.
Yeah.
Nah, she's misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
like Crow.
I feel like the only person who understands her is the Traveler. I feel like the Traveler was like, no, you know what? Everybody gets a shot at redemption. Like that's what becoming a guardian is. It erases all of the past. But her fatal sin was that she organized her memories to come back to her so that she could continue being the worst. So she kind of failed her shot at redemption. But it's too bad.
Yeah. So
she'll be back. We need her. She'll be back.
She'll have to be back.
The chat is asking, before I pass it back to E, the chat is asking, we have to ask you that you must rank, at least for now, your top 3 raids.
Top 3 raids.
Franchise.
Wrath of the
Go ahead.
Franchises.
Yeah, no, full like D1 and D2. You can go both sides. So yeah.
Right. Wrath of the Machine, I think, number 1. Number 2, Deepstone Crypt.
Nice.
Wow.
And number 3, I don't know though, is Deepstone more than... Hang on, Deepstone Crypt. Wrath of the Machine, third. I'd have to go... Not King's Fall.
Oh, you'd have broke their hearts today.
Is it last week?
Nah, I agree.
I think the new one. Maybe the new one is third.
Okay, he's back.
Yeah.
I
I don't know if it is, but am I just saying Wrath of the Machine because it's nostalgia?
Yeah.
See?
That's how, no.
This is what it gets down to.
With Vog.
Yep.
How you with Wrath is how I am with Vog. I feel
exactly, of course. Well, also, it's
if you
not
ask
just
me
that
tomorrow,
it's your first.
I'd probably say the same 3 or 4, but I'd have them in different orders.
Yeah.
Can I ask why? Not that Deep Stone is a bad raid. This is the first time I've ever seen you have Deep Stone with that level. Not that it's a great raid. What was the moment for you that really took it into that top 3 for you?
I think mainly because it was the first one that I Sherpa'd so many people through. So I think I've got an emotional attachment to it.
Okay.
And that's when I sort of like I don't like to say made me name, but where I sort of like met so many people Sherping through that raid, and people who are still know and still come to the channel, and people who I'm still friends with. So I think it's more of an emotional attachment. The actual raid, I think it's just got everything as well. I think it's got a decent boss fight at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's even though you are stood still, it is the jumping puzzle's great. I think
Spacefall.
I think A-Trax is really well
cool
done.
boss.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just I think it's a cool raid.
I also think Deepstone Crypt has the best journey. Like the fact that you start on this frozen wasteland and then you go up into space as part of the story, and then you crash back down. Like the whole journey that you go on in that raid is so cool.
Good point.
Last Wish. If there wasn't for the Riven cheese, I think Last Wish would be up there. Yeah, I think it'd be up there. Yeah, because I think that spoiled it. I wish they'd fixed that sooner, but I wasn't playing Destiny 2 when Last Wish was released. So again with Deepstone, that was one of the first. Oh no, there's Crown of Sorrow. I love Crown of Sorrow as well.
Oh, there we go. There's the spicy take.
Really?
Yeah.
First Crown.
That's very spicy.
Yeah.
Spicy.
I've only done that raid like 4 times.
Yeah, I didn't do it that much.
As soon as I get this weapon, I'm out of here.
The beginning was if it wasn't for that beginning.
The beginning is a slog.
Would probably be my favourite because I loved that boss room. And the fact that and the jumping puzzle in that as well, like you have to you know what I mean, shoot things to make the other platforms come up. It was challenging, even though most people used to cheese it across. But
I think that raid is terrible.
Terrible. Yes. Terrible. Yeah.
Dad jokes going strong tonight, but that's fine.
Granddad jokes, Alan.
I love it.
Yeah, Crown of Sorrow, actually. I think my 3 favourites, I think, I just don't,
you got picked from your
Deepstone Crypt, and Crown of Sorrow.
Oh, wow, that's unique.
This is a real Sophie's choice for him. I've never seen someone make such a labored decision on this.
But I mean, he's a big raider, so that's like, I get it. It's cool. Like, and I love him. I like how everybody. I honestly, the fact that Deepstone Crypt people can, the reason why you pick Deepstone Crypt makes perfect sense. The emotional attachment, the journey that you've been through with however many guardians you've taken through that thing, the way you know it, the way you've taught it. And as you said, it's a cool journey to go through. And the fact that you've been through it with so many people, I totally 100% get why it's up there. So that makes perfect sense. Well, anything else we want to ask this man about the I got to know, Titan or Warlock? If you have to pick one right now, which one do you pick?
Be careful.
I think in the present, because Trials of the Weekend, I really enjoyed. I was going to say Titan, but
you're doing well. You're doing well. Go with your heart. Speak from the heart.
I think one I can't play any other ever again.
Yeah, that's Like you can only pick one moving forward.
Warlock.
Ooh, there you go. You just balanced out the podcast. Good job.
Educate everyone. Why the Warlock class? Why you grab why?
People pick the easy path.
Why? You can do. People are weak. You can do anything on a Warlock, can't you? You can support. But since this new update, we're a lot more than support. With that Devour and the old Child of the Old Gods.
Child of the Old Gods, baby.
Yeah.
So I speak to myself.
In PvP, that's amazing. I am not a good PvPer, and I got kills in Trials at Weekend just because of that.
With Child of the Old Gods?
That leeching thing, yeah. All you have to do is throw an axe, put your rift down, throw an axiom bolt down the middle lane, get a few tags, and it's like the good guys finish him off, the decent people.
Travis's soul right now, and I love it because it all feels easy, and he hates that, and it gives me joy when he's upset.
It's the new Shatter dive.
Travis?
It's all. I'm a Titan, and
Titan.
Warlocks can do anything. That's fair, except for win a Crucible match or Guardian games. But they can do, most things.
Guardian games will
fair,
give you.
definitely.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
man,
It
it's
is one of
rigged.
those. No,
Stop
but
the
it is
count.
one of those things though. When I sit there and I'm working on trying to solo the master version of Vox Obscura, and I want to go Void because it has all the new benefits from the subclass and everything. But when I go to like think about using my super, it's either a bubble for some damage from my weapon, and I'm just like, if I could just throw a Nova Bomb right now, the amount of DPS output you get in your one button push is crazy, as opposed to a bubble or have to try and shield bash a guy and survive. Just that one button push for Nova Bomb is, and just nukes the guy for a little while. I'm like, yeah, that would be really beneficial, but don't have that one. So I do feel like, I don't know. It was like, all classes definitely have their pieces to it, but the fact that you were half Warlock and half Titan and you were that divided anyway, you already fit in with the podcast.
Yeah,
so you were
respect.
good.
Yeah,
You
Really
weren't a hunter, so yeah, you're already fine.
Oh, damn.
What's going to happen with Solar though when Solar gets the Void treatment?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
That's
what our
what I'm
hammers.
saying.
I want to see what our
looking for
hammers do.
Arc,
When they fix the big sledgehammer,
Yeah.
they have to do something good with that because that has been so bad for so long. I hope Solar 3.0 makes that one fun, because if they don't give that love, I'm going to be real sad.
The animation
one of
for
the-
that
one
is
of these
brilliant,
light-
isn't it?
Yeah, one of these light updates has to give Titans a good subclass,
Yeah.
please.
I was like, Void
Yeah.
feels pretty good for a Titan. Like, the Overshield is strong. No question, that's strong. And then you put Overshield on with, like, Titans and PvP, you can get annoying. But just, like, the power, I want the Arc and the Solar, the power output. Those are the two I'm waiting on, and those are where Titans really get to shine for DPS, and those just aren't here yet.
Falling Star.
I forgot, about the Void. Yeah, Titan. Because in VOW, that's what I've been running all the time, is Titan. Because, because of line because of line rampants. And but the shield bash is I know it's always had the shield bash, but it just feels different now.
Yeah, with the Overshield and PvE, with the like Void Bash, Shield Bash, Overshield on you, explosions on them, feels good. It really does feel good. So no, I think you passed that question with flying colors. Good job.
We ask him his least favorite raid. Is that fair?
Yes.
I know we don't usually do that.
I like
but what
that.
is your
That's a
least favorite
great
raid?
question.
Because
Least
you said
favorite.
Crown's one of your favorites, so now I have to know what your least
Yes,
favorite is.
good
I just have to
point.
know.
Probably not probably, it is Garden, but
Yeah,
Okay.
Really?
I
Yeah.
still like it, but I just don't like it. Can always go so wrong. I've had some horrible experiences in that raid, but I've had some good experiences too. But when you're taking new people through that, any more than two, that
that's the
boss
rules.
room
yeah.
can
Bro,
go. Because
you gotta do
people
the-
talk about people talk about divinity. People don't like doing divinity Sherpas because they're always a nightmare. But they're only a nightmare because of that boss stage. By that time, you've done all the puzzles.
Yeah.
So it's not the divinity quest. It's because you're taking new people through that raid.
Yes.
It's
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it
with you.
requires a lot of
hours.
cooperation.
Yeah.
I remember,
Especially
I remember
the-
one. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, especially the Congo line, you gotta all line up and then hit the thing, and then it's
Somebody
very,
runs the wrong spot and it gets
Yeah.
it gets pulled. Oh my god!
and then when you're like, okay, we need someone to rebuild the plate, and because that he's taking the floor away. It's just for a new. You made a good point for more than one new person at a time.
Yeah.
As a Sherpa, that raid can be challenging.
Yeah. I think my record, it was 6 hours, taking, it was 3 new
just for the
people
last
through it.
encounter.
Oof.
No, that was the full raid.
6 hours of the whole raid, but
Well, it
half
would've-
of the
it
crew
would've
being
been-
new. Yeah, that's
Yeah, but it would have been 5.5 hours on the last encounter if it's because the rest of it's quite simple, isn't it? But it's just like you can. People will be trying to build, and then you come out of the portal to bank your motes, but you get tethered because they're trying to build, and it's like then you can't shoot, and before you know it, it's a wipe. But,
a lot of things that
I
can
think
go
my
wrong.
least. I don't think we've talked about our least favorites on this chat between us.
Yeah, E. Let's start with E.
Why me first? Why does
I'm
that seem
curious.
fair?
No, it's a
I know my least
great
favorite.
question.
You
I know
know-
mine's already.
Travis,
I'm-
you know yours?
Oh yeah,
What is it?
Spire Stars.
That is the correct answer.
I hate that raid. I hate it so
that
much
raid.
because here's the thing. It's not that interesting of a raid. And if it were like Crown of Sorrows, I would have just done it 4 times and been done when I got Terabah. But not only does it not really have an interesting loot, I had to do it 50 times because it had an emote. That I couldn't get to drop. I could not get it to drop. Every person I did it with would do it, would get it on the first drop. The first drop when you're just getting into the raid, everybody would get it on there. And I did it 50 plus times and could not get that damn emote. I have almost every emote in the game. Like it was a sticking point with me. And it's the coolest one at the time, especially. It was like the coolest emote. Yeah, I was like, I have to get it, and I just could not get it to drop. So yeah, Spire of Stars, dude. I did not like that.
I'm with you. Same thing. I just it didn't really have a story. I'm like, who is Cal Orr? What is he doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like you said, I was forced because I'm such a sleeper fanboy. And the only way you could get that catalyst at the time was to do that horrible raid. I just did I guess, you know what it is? I just, especially the last encounter, it was kind of in the same room, do it twice. But yeah, I was forced to do a raid I didn't want to do, and that's just the end of it. But E, I'm curious, what is your least favorite?
I think it's between one of these two that you guys are both mentioning, because Crown, the only couple of times I did it, just, it didn't do anything special at all. Because, I mean, Leviathan, I still, like, it has some unique to no, it's not low. I'm saying Leviathan has some good sides. You've got what the hell's the other raid lair? Not Crown, but what's the other one?
What was
Eater
of Worlds.
Eater of Worlds was like the boss room was interesting. It was short, but I think people enjoyed that. But like I can see the garden part, especially on the Sherpa side of things. But Spire is pretty low. I only did it probably like a couple of times. Like Spire, I never did that much. I didn't farm for either of the things these two are going for, so that I get. And then but Garden always seemed, Garden is like a weird one. It just the whole line connections things to it. It's like when you eventually, I went through and I got like hard Sherpa'd for, like I knew the encounters, but when it came to Divinity, it was like people who knew what they were doing. They're like, all right, stand here and do the little dance and move the little lines around. It was cool. But then when you get to the end, shout out real quick to Jarv. Big man on campus, by the way. Shout out to that man. Please go find that man on Twitter and YouTube. Hit that subscribe, like, and all those good things to that man. Another one over there on your side of the world there, Granddad.
Yeah.
He's my clanmate.
Nice. Yeah.
Salute. That's my guy. Love Jarv.
Jarv's a good guy. But it's probably between those two, because mostly everything else I can think of generally something that I tend to like about him. Whether it be like, even I'm like Crota's End, like I like the thematic nature of the Hive and the Frantic and Wrath, and I don't hate Vogue. Like it's not high, but it's not low. Like, so it's like when it comes, those, it's gonna be between one of those two. It's got to be for me. Like I could, So it's like I don't have any. I don't know which one is worse, but I would say neither of those are. Those are going to be fighting for the bottom spot for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah.
I actually forgot about Spire of Stars.
Yes.
Spire of Stars it is. Okay.
Go Spire.
Spire of Stars it is.
Garden, I think I probably did Garden 200 times, maybe less, maybe more. But Spire of Stars, I think I did. One of the only raids that is in single figures. Again, it's because I wasn't playing around that time.
I wish mine was in single figures.
I didn't go back to do it that much. Leviathan, I went back to do. I think I ended up doing that 20 times or something. But it was So it'd have to be Spire of Stars. Definitely.
No doubt. That is correct answer.
Nice.
And
it's so bad he forgot to include it as his worst raid. I mean, do you need more proof than that?
That's it. That's what you do when you try to erase it from your memory. Yeah, one of the funniest things. That I ain't gonna lie, Trav, I'm very spiteful now. When I play like a strike or something, and I see someone get the sleeper catalyst as a drop, it burns my soul.
There's a triumph to get the emote, which is the thing I did the raid 50 times to get. So they added that later as a
it was in the Age of Triumphs, wasn't it? When they brought like the farmable versions out. Yeah, because I got it straight away.
Yeah,
I saw that and I wanted to die. I was like, I spent dozens of hours of my life farming for that damn emote, and now everybody gets it. But you know what? Everybody got it on their first drop anyway, so was it any worse? Destiny hates me, man. Those guys at Bungie, I swear to God, they hate me and have just marked my account for death. So
Shut up real quick.
How long? Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say a couple super chats. Necromancer Zale earlier on in the show finally got a Cabal ally mission. We will talk about that. Wish there was more to it. Yeah, we're going to get to the story, and then also see Tech real quick. Spire deserved to be sunset. There you go.
That's my God.
And Jarv is a king's fall forever. So we already got your answer. So
all right, Jarv.
I love that raid.
Yeah, king's fall.
Great raid.
Yep.
Great raid.
So how many times
we're gonna be playing
did it
it
take
soon,
to get Vex for if you RNG's bad?
Don't have it. I haven't tried as much, but ask Travis how many times it took him.
Yeah, so Vex Mythoclast is the one weapon that seems to have a special connection with me, because I got it at my first drop the first day Vault of Glass came out when I beat it, and I got it my first drop the first day Vault of Glass came out in the remastered version as well. So I have like a special connection with that one, but every other one, like the rocket launcher, Eyes of Tomorrow, I think I did that one 80 times. Like the Anarchy took me like 50 times, like all of them. And I still don't have the one for the new raid. Not that it's been too long, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those.
Yeah,
I'm up to
you have me respect then. I was going to say, well, you got it Vex first, go. Your RNG's brilliant, but no,
that's the only one.
Yeah, he cashed in all of his chips for Vex twice, and then the casino chooses not to pay out for anything else.
Yeah. It's like YouTuber look. We go on about it in our clan because I think Jarv and Houndish, they both got Vex on the first couple of runs, and they've both got the new pulse rifle as well on the first couple of runs.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think Vex has a higher drop rate for people who got Vex in D1. I swear it does, because like all the people that are OGs, they got their Vex right away, and the people that didn't really do raids in D1 or at least Vex, like they have trouble getting it. And I'm just like, there's something to it. It's like it's a time affinity weapon.
Yeah, it could be, because it took me 59 goals and I didn't do. I think I only did it once or twice VOG in the original Destiny, because I came to it late when Wrath of the Machine came out. So there wasn't, I think it's when they brought out the hard version of it.
Yeah.
But I never got Vex in D1. But, like I say, I only did it a handful of times. Like doing raids in the hundreds is quite a new thing for me since since like DSC and Garden.
Yeah.
It's like that was when I had my original raid group in D1 VOG, and my buddy, I think, almost filled out his heavy slot with the quantity of Gallahorns he had. I think he almost had 9 before I got my first galley. So it's just like, I've had crap RNG on raid drops for a while. So I don't tend to hope for that. But yeah, they're on the private streamer network. You can't tell everybody about that, Jarv. But yeah, that's the private servers where they get their secret drops. So
For sure.
Well, shout out to good Destiny raid rankings, but we had a very, very cool story beat happen this week. So I do want to kind of jump into that first before we talk about like Iron Banner and some other things. Witch Queen we got most of already. We got the Vow of the Disciple raid. Fantastic on both of those accounts so far. We've kind of definitely talked about those plenty. Season of the Risen has been slowly building. I've had a little bit of stories. We got the one from Saladin previously with the, animated storyboard, kind of going through what his, test of mercy was previously. And now, this week, it went full amazing story moment for Saladin. Like, I never expected to see him in this moment. And, Grandad, I want to ask you first, like, when you played through Season of the Risen, the final story beats this week for PsyOps missions, what was your take on it? And just kind of, if you want to tell people just kind of what you saw happen, like how did the story hit you, and what did you see happen there?
Well, first of all, I was just like, Crow, come on.
Yeah.
We're rooting for him. We've forgiven
it,
all your shite from the past. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
We've forgiven you. And now you're going to do
Granddad.
something stupid like this. Why are you playing that lad? You know what I mean? You'd give him a clip round the ear, and wait. I felt sorry for the Scion for a moment. I was like, what are you
Killed
doing?
so
But
many
anyway.
of you. Yeah. And yet this one feels like it hits hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said earlier, I've never been invested in story like I am at the moment. Like from sort of like Splicer time, I've got really into it. I've even started watching lore videos, and
Nice.
I never thought I'd do stuff like that. I wasn't interested. I just wanted to do raids and shout a scream when playing Crucible, and I was happy. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't bothered about the story, but yeah, I think they're doing a really, really good job. The narrative team, they take all the props, I think. Yeah, they've got me invested. And when he went over to Keitel, she's an amazing character.
Yes.
She's really, really
Yes.
good.
Yes.
She's
Can't believe
she's
Zavala was ready to
frightening,
turn
but-
on that booty call. He was ready,
Yeah.
man. He was ready to.
Yeah. I mean, I would entertain her, definitely. His wife's number 9. No, I'm joking. I like a
He was
good,
ready to
strong
turn
woman.
on his boo, though. He's built such a rapport with her.
I like what
Just
Jarv,
like that,
I like what Jarv said though. He's like, was it me or did anyone else want to see Zavala Thunder Crash Keitel? And I will say, after Witch Queen cinematic when he punched the table, and then now this one where you see the hand kind of start tingling, I want to see what it takes for Zavala to get unhinged. I want to see him break finally, and I hope they ever do that to a point where he is raw. I hope they let him have that moment, because Lance Reddick would obviously nail it, but I just want to see them. I want to see Zavala let loose, because he's so kept right now, and I want to see the point what it takes to break him.
Yeah.
I think he's the paragon. He's the immovable object, and I don't think he'll break. I think that's got to be his arc.
What if
But
Lightfall? What about Lightfall though?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how depressing they're going to go with
Savathun
it.
comes back to save us all.
Well, yeah, we'll see about all that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Can I stand in defense of Crow? Because I think people are giving him
Please,
a
I want to hear this.
real hard time. So, how can I put this? I think that the Dreaming City is not the only thing that Savathun cursed. And and I think that we just got done spending an entire campaign learning what happens when you're given a second chance and you're unable to untether yourself from the past. Savathun is basically an example of somebody who got a second chance and failed to make the most of it because she repeated the same mistakes, because she insisted on learning who she was, right? That's basically her fatal flaw. She could have actually been redeemed, I believe. I think it's there. I think it's in her character, and I think that's what the Traveler believed too. I think that's why the Traveler gave Savathun light. And that didn't happen because she was too untrusting to actually to give herself that second chance. And that ended up being her undoing. And I think we're learning that, like, once you learn who you are, once you cross that line as a guardian, it sort of dooms you. And Savathun did that for Crow. And in a sense, Crow wanted it, right? But for all we know, our character's a monster too.
Yeah,
but we're not bound. Yeah, we're not bound to that history, to that burden. And I think that seeing Crow fall prey to the same mistakes he made because he now has this history that no other guardians have to deal with is a lesson that everybody should be paying attention to, because we also see it happening with Anna Bray. We also see it happening with the gunsmith. We see it happening with these characters that are getting closer to the edge. And I think that that's going to be a problem in the future. I think it could end up, because it's the one thing that unites all the guardians, is that whatever differences they may have had in their past lives, none of that matters now, because they've been forced to put themselves aside and become light bearers. And I think that once all of that history and that selfishness and the past of who they were catches up with them, I think it becomes really hard to separate who you are from this sort of tool that you've been forced to be turned into. And so I think the Crow is getting a super bad rap for something that is basically not his fault. I mean, Savathun sort of is to blame for this one. And I think that we should be paying attention to the pattern of people kind of falling and becoming a problem once they learn about their true history, once about their past. So I'm super empathetic and sympathetic toward the Crow, and think that now I'm sort of worried about the other people who have started to learn about pieces of their history. To be honest, I'm worried about like what the gunsmith's going to do. Like I'm kind of worried about these characters now. So It's really interesting. But as you said, Granddad, like I've never been more interested in the lore, and I think the stuff they're doing is super nuanced and interesting. And yeah, man, I'm logging on every week happily. Although it sounds like we're going to be taking a pretty big hiatus here for a while, so we'll see.
Yeah,
yeah, that's my take.
What about you, Cog? What was your? I know, like for reactions and stuff. I know it's not Saint and Osiris and your boys.
I love everybody.
I know, but I was like,
everybody.
I know, but how did this one hit you this week?
Excellent. World class storytelling. The fact that this is going on during an amazing Savathun campaign, like post, is just a testament to where the writing has gone. It is so good that the campaign that like you could make an argument in a weird way that like Season of the Risen is like so much more interesting on some level, on a small level, just because I want to know where they go. What they've done with Saladin, I'm gonna be honest, I like the character, but he would get on my nerves. I'm gonna be like, because the way I looked at it, I was Team Crow to this moment.
To
this week, I was Team Crow because Crow used to call him out. When we used to do those other missions, Crow would be like, wait a minute, now that I'm a Guardian, when the Red War came, where was you? Why were you always abandoning situation? And Saladin, he didn't really have a lot of good retorts. Just like, young buck, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was always, it was like that, that the older guy talking to the younger guy, always sunning him like, you don't know. But Crow made good points as a new light, right? So to me this week, I'm sitting there and I remember after the mission, you go through it, they're like, Where's Crow? He's supposed to be the scout. Like, what's going on? Shout out to the mission with the Cabal actually fighting with us. That was really, really cool.
The PsyOps Battleground was
amazing. I've been doing the PsyOps Battleground. I rush to do them as soon as they come out because I want to know what's going on. And I thought it was interesting how they set it up because prior to that, like Savala's getting all comfortable. I don't know if you caught this dialogue, and he's like, this alliance is really looking good, and and Kata's like, relax. Trust needs to be built, little man. Like, calm down, right? So we get to this moment, and you come back to that helm, and you see what our boy has done. And this is the part he just lost me on that one part, because I'm like, he's doing this bleeding heart stuff, and I'm like, I get it from an ethical standpoint, but this is war. Like the Hive are here. They're trying to, we still have Ziva Wrath. We still got things to deal with, right? So I'm like, I get this sentiment, but you know better. Now the whole alliance is in jeopardy with the Cabal. That's why I'm like, oh, where this is going to go. So the scene happens, and I'm not going to, I was going to edge of my seat. I'm like, okay. Because Crow is, I give Crow this. He was willing. Because Kaido was about to smoke.
He wasn't going to take the L.
He was probably going to take the L. Kaido was like, I don't care about all of that. Where we from, blood for blood. Life for life. Yep. Where we from, I don't want it. So you go figure it out whose head is coming off today. I'm ready for the head chopping. I love her. She was awesome, right? So he get there, and I can't front. To Travis's credit, Crow stepped by with the sheepish eyes, the head down. He ready for the head to come off.
Yeah.
I cannot. When Saladin stepped up, goosebumps. It was such a character developed moment. And it was earned because prior to that, he kept trying to tell him, stop making these rash decisions. Everything has a consequence. When you jump off on the cuff, there's a so what they're doing is so good for Crow's arc to teach him this lesson. And then the fact that Zavala, to his credit, he was charging up.
Oh yeah, he was
Zavala
ready.
was like, Zavala about to throw the whole
Is that
thing
to
away.
his credit though, or is that like him putting Crow
for the Alliance? Yeah,
you're
exactly.
right.
He jeopardized all of humanity.
Right.
Yeah.
Trav, he jeopardized him. He was about to jeopardize the mission, and it set up Saladin again because prior to the conversations with Zavala and Saladin, Zavala would mention he was always a wise influence, because I was always trying to get why does he respect Saladin so much sometimes? And I felt this one was earned. I'm like, okay, I get it. So he's willing to put his head on the chop. I'm sorry, it's spoilers. You got to watch, bro. I'm sorry, Dylas. You come on now. It's weekly content. But, he put his head out there. And at the end of the day, I got to respect him for that. And I got to respect Kaido. Because Kaido was like, you know what? That was gangster.
Yep.
That was, from the Cabal standpoint, how we move, we ain't gonna kill you, but you gonna be in indentured servant. Now you're Brachus, blah blah blah.
That was amazing.
Brachus Forge is his new.
Brachus Forge,
I love the name too.
What's funny is that actually helps you. That actually helps humanity. It's kind of not that much of a loss because it means.
Yeah, exactly. We've got someone on that board now.
Yeah.
But the thing about like Zavala and that relationship with Crow, that you're right. That could be troubling if he. Because that's like usually, like you said before, Zavala's like this level-headed, immovable object, and that showed that he was about to tip, wasn't he?
Yep.
So he about to risk it all.
Yeah, it's like he's gonna risk it all for Crow, and there's that moment, it's like, well, Crow. What was it? Was it Season of the Chosen? Where was it Crow who tried to save him, basically?
Yeah,
so saved him from the bullet, from the assassination attempt.
Yeah, so he tried to save him from that, and they have like the reach the hand up moment, which is the difference from the shooting. And then you come back and have now Zavala about to step in for him, and then it's like, who's going to save the day? Zavala's teacher, Saladin, the one who taught him, to be who he is, and obviously who's been there. And then Saladin knew it's like, what's the best thing you can do for the alliance between Cabal and the humanity? He's going to step in, save the alliance, like do that. Now he's on the war cancel. Now he's Brachus Forge, and you've got Zavala and Crow still building up what father and son relationship they kind of have, slowly budding up to be whatever they're going to be. I don't know if Crow is ever going to be justified to be the Hunter Vanguard, though. I know a lot of people see him going there, but I don't know if he's ever going to be in a right enough state to fit that role. It doesn't seem like that's where he should be. He doesn't.
No.
He's already got enough going on in the head. He's already been through enough. He's got old memories, new memories, and everything. I mean, Zavala was about to break
there.
But then you've got Ikora, who's just, the pillar of I'm completely stable until I'm gonna Nova bomb your ass. But outside of that, like, Crow does not fit the Hunter Vanguard. I don't think he should go. I would rather see Anna Bray go into that spot, even though I don't know if she belongs there. But I don't see Crow fitting that spot. But now it's not like, hey, here's this Crow story that's been built up and we're gonna chop his head off and move on and take the life, but still maintain the alliance. It's now you've got Zavala and Crow who can be together. They're gonna talk with Saladin on the comms between the War Council and have all this stuff working on. So I'm excited that they maintained Crow as a character. But again, I think as you said, Travis, you actually said it pretty well, that he deserves a little more credit than we give him with everything going on in his head. And I like the way you phrased that, which is good.
Yeah, it was good, that. I mean, if Crow would have fought his feet, he could have said, the reason I got rid of that Scion, the reason I did that, he was the one who tried to kill you, Zavala. I recognised him, from that. He could have done a bit of a fancy footwork and got out of it. I had to do it, boss.
Did you guys know? Did you know who the Scion was, though? The Scion is one of Keidel's oldest friends.
Yes.
Really?
So the Scion itself is important to Keitel. Is an emissary, but one of Keitel's kind of oldest friends as well. So the fact that that's the Scion who died was Keitel's like, something's happening. So the fact that
something going down.
The fact that she forgave the whole situation when Saladin stepped up was even bigger due to the weight of who she lost.
Did you catch how Bungie is narratively going to affect Iron Banner?
Oh yeah, well I was getting there, but yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
She's got some ideas.
You still got to
for
do Iron Banner, but Keitel's coming in to make some modifications. I guess that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
To your point, I hear where you're going. I'm not saying you're wrong. You as of right now, Crow is not ready to do that. My prediction is they are building him up to some type of heroic moment where he's going to earn it. That's what I'm going to predict right now. I think he's been through a lot, and Travis is right. His mindset, he's going through what few Guardians have to go through, which is knowing your former self, knowing the horrific stuff you did. But the way they're doing this, it's almost like a rite of passage. And I think Saladin was the correct choice for this. Like, he gave his life in indentured servitude. I think right now, still that moment's not enough. I'm with you, E.
Yeah.
But I think later, whether it be Lightfall, something cataclysmic is happening. My prediction is he's going to do something awesome, and we're going to go, oh, okay. That's what I'm rolling with right now. We'll see if it. We'll see if
We
my
got
prediction
about
pans out.
3 years to see if that pays off. So we'll just put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
Shout out real quick again to Necromancer with the $5 super chat. This season really built the story for the Cabal Alliance. Of the 4 alien races, I like the Cabal the most. Ready for more on the Vex next. Yeah, the Cabal have been very interesting. The Fallen, we keep seeing the houses and stuff, and we got Mithrax, which is cool. But just the Cabal being a faction of war and the ships and the honor that they have between them. And it was going through, I think it was going through the PsyOps Battlegrounds when you're in the moon, and they're saying, this is a lot to be thrown. No, I think it's actually Vox Obscura. They're like, man, they're throwing a lot at us. And it's like, well, the scale of the forces we have to throw at you is basically a sign of respect from the Cabal. The stronger you are, the more we have to basically like throw back at you. So it's like if they have a huge force thrown at you, they respect you. So it's a weird culture, and it's very war based, obviously, but it is one of the more interesting ones we've had. And just the way they kind of brought the Cabal out of nowhere to be, there are these people kind of mostly who are on Mars and stuff, to one of the coolest groups that we have now. It's nice to see a turn for this race.
Just how big they are as well. You know,
I love them.
Massive.
Just the size of Kyle and the size of them scions in that mission.
Those,
you expect the scions to be miniature, don't you? But when you saw them, they were like, "Flipping heck!"
Not that
He's a
boss
decent-
from that one strike, that big boy.
Oh, yeah.
What was it, the
yeah,
Sundial,
yeah.
when they finally combined together? That was the first time we saw one that big, and now the ones we see in the Battlegrounds are that same size, and they're huge.
Yeah,
They
is
are.
that
Honestly,
like is that based on like their rank? How big they are? Do you think?
So this is something I've always wondered about Destiny, and I feel like they have absolutely no reverence for like respective sizes. Because imagine the Scion; he's like on the Scion homeworld with other Scions. He's like freakishly tall. He can't fit through any of the Scion doors. He probably is going to live like 10 years at that size. He's got like a gland problem. Like he's eating like so much food. He's like got all these medical
bulking,
problems.
bro. He's bulking, bro.
In and out of the hospital because his bones can't support all that meat weight. Like this guy is like this guy's a problem, like a case study in like issues. But no, he's just bigger, and he gets to be the boss in a fight. I would think I went on like an hour-long diatribe because I was doing a Grandmaster that happened to be during that strike, and so it took us a long time to beat it. And I was just like talking about all the different ways that this guy would be a serious problem in his entire social circle and life. So I'll
like,
never,
there's
I'll
our
never get
friend.
over
He's
that.
like 12 feet tall, and we're all down here like, what's up, dude?
He's like it'd be like if you knew somebody who was 18 feet tall.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine all the problems? Like, there would be no beds to fit him, no clothes. This poor guy we'd probably last like 3 years.
It's an absolute logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
He has to eat 90,000 calories a day.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it Kargan?
I can't remember.
Was it Kargan the boss, the Scion boss?
Kargan?
Yes.
That sounds right.
Yes.
Kargan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kargan. Yes, absolutely.
Kargan,
I've always loved the Cabal. I just, even from D1 when people hated them, I just thought they were funny because I felt they had their own theme. When you hear that wah 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 wah, I just think it just
Actually,
fit
they
were stomping,
They all have
marching.
their own theme, don't they?
Yeah.
Don't all
we
the
just-
races have their own
We
theme?
just never got much story
That
out
one's
of
just the
them.
most memorable because it's so different.
It's
like,
so different.
yeah.
It's just so ominous. It's just brutish, and I just love everything about them. Is violence and killing, and then we respect you, and you killed our guy. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
You murdered him. Great.
Is there a Cabal raid? Am I blanking? Oh, well, I mean, we just talked about Spire
Leviathan.
Stars. Yeah. Leviathan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
There's
like
a few of them.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if we do get Callus to ever come back at some point as now possibly one of the disciples of the darkness. That'll be interesting to see, like, if this level of storytelling they've got, if he comes back as somehow an off-season shoot or, a vow of the disciple or anything, like if that ever actually transition happens, the fact that Kaido's been built up this much, to see her going back and forth with her dad, that would be some fun storytelling to watch. That would be really cool.
Good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I really like one of my favorite GMs is Proving Grounds. It's like she does go on a little bit in that, doesn't she? To be fair to her, you after doing it like however 100 times, you're like, can you just shut up a minute, love? You know what I mean? She does go on it. She just drones on and on and on. But I think that was the start of this Cabal. People being a bit more interested in the Cabal, wasn't it? And them telling this story a bit more. That when that Nightfall or that Strike was released.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, season of the story. But that was the end of the quest. So oddly, this is probably our shortest for all these like weekly quests and things. This is the shortest one we have had. Basically actually wrapped. I know I complained last year, all damn year long, about not putting a bow on a story, and they finally put a bow on that story, and that thing is done. Now they may do like
they've been listening to the show,
I mean, yeah, they must totally. Shout out to Bungie, guys, if you're out there, we love you. But seriously, it's like this is nice to see one, and it could have been even a little longer. It feels short, but it felt tight, and it felt well told, and the different pieces to it. It didn't. It's one of those. Do you need the 3-hour movie or can you have the 2-hour movie? We got the 2-hour movie, but we got the ending, which I appreciate. So now, if we do get maybe an epilogue or a little preview for whatever season happens in 17. That is totally fine, and they can go into what I had hoped for. But the fact that we actually got a season and tied it up, and we know Iron Banner is going to change in season 17. Now we know it's going to change a little bit more, and why, which I'm very curious about. But it's weird to see that the story, we've got the expansion story done, got the raid, and now we've got the season of the Risen story, and this was week 4. This is probably the fastest we have gone through basically any of an entire season's beats for story, lore, narrative, weekly quests, or anything ever. So I honestly kind of wanted to get your takes. Do you guys think this went too fast? Proper speed? Are you worried about the next 10 or 11 weeks? Any of you guys, whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I think this was perfect. And I think Bungie is finally realizing that they don't have to put out content every week for people to keep playing their game. And even if people stop playing their game, they'll always come back when there's new content. And I think that is a super important lesson to learn when you're making a game as a service, because you can never feed the beast to its satisfaction at all times. It's just an unattainable goal. And more games as a service, custodians are realizing, you know what, it's okay if there's dips. It's okay if the week before the Witch Queen comes out, there's only 60,000 people playing it on Steam, because then there's 800,000 playing it. Yeah, still great, but still it's comparatively really low when there was 1 million pre-orders for the Witch Queen, right? That's a very small number of players. So, I think that they're sort of learning that. I think that's super important. I mean, nowadays there's lots of games that follow that model. Sea of Thieves is sort of used to that fluctuation. They have a lot of people fall off, and then they put something out, and lots of people play. And I think that that's okay. I think this is perfect, to be honest, because I'm just getting to the point where I sort of feel like I've done everything, and I don't want to do more psyops, battlegrounds, and all that stuff. And I'm kind of like, all right, I've seen everything that's in the Witch Queen. I'm kind of starting to fall off of it, and it all wrapped up. I don't have to worry about it, and now I can go and play Elden Ring and do other stuff, and then come back to it when they're ready to tell me another story. And of course I'll come back, because my experience this time was so much fun, and I didn't have to wait too long for it and all that stuff. So I prefer this way, way, way more. Like, they can take a break, they can come back with more stuff. It also feels like this is more sustainable. Like, I feel like they can do a season where it's just 4 or 5 weeks, and then take a little bit of a break, and they can still tell really good stories and make really good content. But I feel like trying to make 3 months worth of content and then 3 months of content immediately after that is just not sustainable, and we kind of saw that with all the delays. So I'm very happy with how this worked, and I hope that they continue to just tell their story, wrap it up, and not fear the player base dropping, because they will hopefully know that people are going to come back to them. So
what about you, Cog? Where's this hit for you?
It's been excellent. I'm gonna actually weirdly disagree with Travis, even though he made excellent points, only from a selfish standpoint. Only because the narrative is so damn good. I'm addicted now. And now I have Ibanez syndrome in a little bit. It's like, well, I don't have your syndrome, because you got the rap this time. Like, you were pissed off last season, because it's like, yo, don't leave us with, tune in next 4 months for the next episode of This Week with Savathun and the Crystal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get you. So now it's just like, man, this is so good. Like, I'm like literally was just tuning into, I guess the reason why I was a little sad was that I felt like, damn, I feel like it's so early in the season. I thought I was going to get at least like 2 more, 3 more weeks. I'm being greedy. I know I'm being greedy. This is the raid has been great. The story with Roke after when you do, the preservation.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? As, getting the little points on that. I'm just curious though, even though like I said, Travis is completely on point with everything he said. I'm just curious, are they truly going to sit on everything narrative until this season is over? Because how much time is left for the season?
I don't know, 11 weeks or something. I'll look over the calendar and we'll get to that here in a minute. We actually got one.
It's not that long.
But I was like, but looking at the calendar, it appears we are not probably going to get too much else with regards to story. From what I can see on the calendar, we're going to get Guardian games, which is always its own little thing, but it's Iron Banners, it's Trials, Freelance, and Trials Capture, and then Master Raids and Raid Challenges. But that's kind of, we're looking at the calendar now, and I think the story is kind of wrapped. I mean, the quest even had 28 parts, and it was like 7 per week, and we just tapped it. So
yeah,
we are kind of done.
Yeah, and the last point I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, New Red said there's a lore page missing, but I mean, that's one of those like minimal things where there might be, and that's where I think there may be an epilogue to lead into season 17. Right. And that, if they have this basically wrapped story, Crow does its thing, we stop the invasion of like trying to get the Throne World projection. Shout out to the Moon Battlegrounds, one of the coolest looking ones of all, for sure.
Yeah, that was cool.
But the fact that is kind of tightly wrapped, there may be one more experience we don't know about towards the end, but that's one of those things they can save till later and just have a surprise to be like, hey, this is going into 17, as opposed to waiting for that moment, which I appreciate. So
yeah. My final point was just that, to Travis's point, where this could be a positive thing is for the overall health of the studio and the fact that, okay, it's out, and let's be honest, we here at the Campfire are the hardcore, right? Yeah. We are the guys that, we're helping people or being helped to go through content. We're going through at a fast pace. The normal human being, you know what I'm saying, who, is really working the 9 to 5, really doesn't have a lot of time, may pop in for a few hours here and there for a week. They will complete it at the pace of the normal cadence of the season. They'll catch up. So in that sense, maybe they have, said to themselves, okay, you know what? Why time gate anything? Why hold it? Yes. Right? Let them get it. And then, hey, if we want to pop in a little extra mission by the midweek part, and then maybe towards the end, set up an epilogue moment, we'll do that. And we're fine. We know who we are and they're comfortable in it. And it would be a refreshing change for them. But I'm curious what my man Granddad got to say on this whole thing with the story being wrapped.
Are you ready for 11 weeks of Sherpas? Go.
Yes. I think I agree with Travis about it. That I think they finally realised that there's different sets of player base. There's the people like us who will just play the game anyway. And we'll have plenty to do because we'll be doing our GMs or our master raids or our challenges in the raids. So we've got enough to keep us busy. Trials every week and Iron Banner when it comes around. We'll play the game anyway, but then they've catered to us in the way that we've got the end of our story quick. And it's not time gated. We're not got it sitting in our quest library on... come back next week, it's on step 12 of 135. Do you know what I mean? We actually know the ending of the story. But like the casual people as well can just come in, play the game, know what's going on, and then go and play something else. Which I'm pretty jealous of them type of people who play other games like Elden Ring and stuff.
That's my
I can only play Destiny. Yeah. But I think they will do something. But I am a bit like Cog as well. I'm just being greedy, I feel like. We could have had a few more weeks. A few more. Just stretch it out a little bit more. Yeah.
Just greedy.
Look
they
forward
have-
to another Tuesday.
Bro, I was so looking forward to I ain't played so much psyops for lore in a minute. So it's a testament, right, Granddad, like to how good it's been.
Yeah.
Where it's like, man, it's like
I know what's interesting.
Yeah.
I was sorry to interrupt you. I was gonna say, like, it to your point, Cog, like they ended the story before you could even buy all the upgrades to SAP's Battlegrounds.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
now they're really saying, like, hey, if you want to keep playing, here's all the reasons to. You can grind high stat armor and weapon rolls and all this stuff, but like they don't feel a need to just like torture you with a story and make you basically the FOMO's gone, right? Like, like if I don't play for 8 weeks, I know that all Granddad's doing is the stuff that I probably don't want to play anyway, right? Like he's doing like Grandmaster Nightfalls and like he's grinding SOPs again and again and again to get those upgrades and doing all the stat stuff. And it's like, cool, if you want to build craft, if you want to unlock all those weapons for weapon crafting, like go crazy, man. Like that's totally there for you. But you don't feel like you have to. And I feel like that.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Or you'll miss like a vital part of the story or something that's super important.
Yep.
And I think that's such smart game design when it comes to games as a service. Like it should be the standard.
We didn't even fill out that final tube as well, did we? In the thing, because we had the hive guardians, didn't we? In them tubes, but it was one that was empty.
I think the one that was empty
get filled.
I think that one got filled up with the
wizard was last, right?
The wizard right before the plug got pulled. Yeah, I think
shows
it's
how
like,
much I paid.
Yeah, she was in the tube for about like 30 minutes, and then Crow killed her. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't last long.
So it did get filled.
But no, I mean, I think you guys all nailed it. And then shout out to Jamie in chat. He just said, he's like, gotta say Witch Queen was crazy. Surpassed all my expectations, and I loved it. But I feel like I'm already back to the standard Destiny grind. And I think this is literally the perfect time for it to hit the moment where you don't have to log in every week and see the story and then go through and be like, oh, I have too much intel. Like, it flirted with that line of just enough times that they want you to log in to see it, where you're like, all right, I can do about a month of Destiny, but if I go 10 weeks, like 2 months of this, then it's going to feel like a little too much for some people. Some of us crazy people who do content or stream or Sherpa or whatever it is that we do. Shout out to my dog. She's making a little cameo. You guys can't see it, but I can.
Saw that.
But it is that like almost perfect amount. I got a story with a bow, which worked for me. They could add a little epilogue later, which is also good. And then it's also for some people when they're getting to that point of it's feeling a little grindy, you're good. Like it almost is that right amount of 4 weeks. What's up, Travis?
I was gonna say one more thing that I think I can win Cog over with this, even though he's addicted to the game. Because what Jamie said, I actually think is really important, which is he said, I really like the content they provided, but now I'm back to the same old grind and I'm not enjoying it anymore. And I think that if you spend less time focused on feeling like you constantly have to feed the beast with the story content, it allows you to focus on the core grind of Destiny and improve that, which has been in a really bad place for a long time. I mean, that's why the Witch Queen got an 8, right? Because all the new content was great, but it's the old stuff that they didn't fix that came back to haunt the game. And I feel like now they've got 11 weeks where presumably the narrative team or whoever's building the next season is off doing that. And now they can have the team actually focus on improving the core grind of Destiny, which is its biggest existing problem. Crucible, being kind of a dumpster fire at times. The activities that you're supposed to do being completely grindy and not fun most of the time, like Gambit and the Strike playlist and all this stuff that like at its core needs fixing. I feel like now they can focus on, and that I feel like is another benefit we're going to see. So
yeah, it's very, very well possible. And it again, we have to see the long-term ramifications of the Sony move, how that plays in resource-wise and stuff like that. Look, I know I'm being selfish and greedy. Like I just know it. It's a testament to how good this thing is. Every week I was coming in a nice, good PsyOps meal. I was very full. I was like, oh man, I'm on the edge of my seat. So I was just a little sad. It really hit me when he said, yeah, now that it's wrapped up. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is wrapped up.
But it was like that, as you said, it's like they're telling it well. They have us interested in these characters. They're actually getting cool character development with other races and alliances and moments where Saladin steps in and does this like hits you in the feels. And all of these things are happening, which is really cool. But as you're saying, it's just like, it's when it's to a point where you want more, they did it right. It's like, hey, you
Correct.
watch you
Correct.
exactly.
Definitely.
That's the
Yeah.
first. Normally,
Yes.
you watch a season of TV and you're like, oh, it's that 24 episodes. Yeah, you had some fillers in there. Maybe it's the Netflix was 10, then they bumped it down to 8, and they're finding that amount of a season that leaves you wanting. And this is one of the things we've been preaching about forever. Is like, if you're at a point that we are, basically, what's the Blizzard thing that came up a few years ago? If you leave a game, at some point you'll leave, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
If you leave the game in a happy state, you will be happy to return when there's more. If you leave a game annoyed, pissed off, whatever, grinded till you're like hate everything, then you're probably not going to come back. And if this is the walk they're finding for more, the casual player who wants to see the story and dip and go play Horizon or Tunic or Elden Ring or Have a Nice Death, like my backlog is always growing. So the fact that I get breaks now for variety and stuff.
Oh, it's excellent.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
So it's like, but
I love what we've got. I love what we've got going on here where Cog is like the senior graduating with like tears in his eyes, where he's like sad that there's not more. And then Ebontis is looking at his college, which is Elden Ring, with like senioritis. Like he's not even showing up to class anymore. He's like, you know what, I'm over this. I got Elden Ring over there. I'm excited to get out of this place.
It's great. What it is I think everybody is correct. All of you are correct. I think what it is I think this is the first time Bungie is trusting themselves and the content and understanding their game. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the maturity of the studio. Yep. And it's fun. It's cool to see because you made a good point. The point you made, was excellent, which is, it's good when you've left the base wanting more. Yep. And then the hardcore can go grind out, do what they need to do, mid-max, custom. And then to Travis's point, we'll get into the TWAB, where they like, look, we do realize this grind with these resonance weapons, so maybe we got this time for 11 weeks to fine tune this, get your feedback, and all that other stuff. But yeah, it's cool to see them grow up. It's just weird for me, to see it in a way. I'm like, oh wow, it's really over. Like, okay, I get it.
It's been a journey, from starting this podcast during Curse of Osiris to be sitting here.
Oh,
it's a different game. It's a different game now, which is really, really exciting. But yes, like Iron Banner's going on this week. We don't have to touch on it too long. If you guys have jumped in, whether you're playing PvP, whether you played Trials or anything, has anybody played much Iron Banner or Trials this, past 7 days?
Void 3.0 is insufferable. It's insufferable.
What's happening in these streets?
It's real bad. And Granddad, I think you mentioned something earlier in the show about this, so maybe I should let you talk a little bit.
Yes, I've really enjoyed Iron Banner.
Yeah,
I have with my Void, Child of the Old Gods. Is it Child of the Old Gods? It is, I know.
Yeah, love it.
But I obviously start up the stream and get a load of PvP gods to 6-stack with me, so it's probably a different experience for me. There's not many games we lose anyway, but then if I start it up on my own, it'd probably be a different matter. But when I have these young whippersnappers, I don't get the bounties done very quickly because they're all based on kills.
That's more your tenacity to stay at it and be like, hey, I got one more kill this match. Sweet. No, just kidding.
Yeah. And Trials, did all right in Trials. We went flawless on Saturday morning. Shout out to me friends SB and Infinity, who help me every week. I'm enjoying it, but I have heard a lot of people complaining about the state of Crucible at the moment. So I do know it's not in a good place.
Yeah, basically the state is that Void 3.0 is pretty imbalanced, and it's just like what they did with Stasis. It's just exposed a bunch of exploits in the sandbox, and people are just taking ultimate advantage of it right now. The invisibility with the hunters, the
hunters are bad out here.
Just the complete imbalance between like warlocks and hunters versus titans that have like no place in Crucible. They have like no place in Crucible right now because none of their supers are well suited for trials. None of them. Like you put a bubble down, that doesn't help you. You can put up a shield that gives everybody more damage behind you, doesn't help you.
True.
And then the roaming super with the shield is also just terrible. There's really no place for it, but you kind of have to play as a Void Titan because of the overshield.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Void Titan overshield
putting up a barricade and not immediately getting an overshield is now like an offense. I'm like, what? I'm like, where's my overshield? I put up my rally barricade. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like upset by it. And so
Yeah.
you have to play as it, but like the supers and just the exploits, I didn't play Trials because I played a little bit of Iron Banner and I was like, okay, I'm starting to see the exploits. I'm going to give them a couple weeks to patch this and then I'll jump into Trials. So that's my plan, is like, I'm just going to kind of wait for the patches to come through. I'm sure they'll be coming in this week and next week. And then, and I'll hop back in.
I love this.
Yeah. I mean, it just needs to happen. They clearly build their ability sandbox around PvE. Like, that's just very clear in the design. And so you kind of have to wait for it to get cleaned up and actually designed for a PvP environment. And so after playing Iron Banner for a little while this week, I was like, all right, I'm going to let you guys clean this up and then I'll be back for some trials.
Let me ask Trav this though. Is it as insufferable as Stasis's first?
No.
It's not as bad as like Shadow Dive.
No. It's not as bad as Shadow Dive.
What are the pain points, y'all? Like, is it Hunters invisible all the time?
Literally, I mean, you go all three. Hunters invisible, Warlocks with, you've got Child of the Old Gods, you've got your ability. You always have a rift that you can literally walk back and forth and heal.
Stop hating on Rift. I don't like your Rift Land each. Watch your tone.
I mean, come on.
That's been there forever. You literally be like, oh, hold on, just stand here and always heal forever. And now you got a Child of the Old Gods that goes to chase people down or hiding around a corner. Now you're like suppressed. It's like, so I mean, you've got that option as well. Your grenades can get bigger. Yeah. You can always have Devour. Like, there are things, but I mean, Titans as well. You can take a shield, which, as Travis said, Solar and Arc feel useless because when you put that shield up and you're like, cool, I got that overshield. When you put a shield up and you're like, wait, I didn't get my overshield. It feels like that shield needs to be doing something else. It feels like Solar needs to do something. Feels like Arc needs to do something because Void does something with that shield now if you want it to, and most people are going to lean into that. And yeah, New Red's over there like Devour stronger than Overshield. So it's like you've got a lot of options in each of these because it's interesting. But as I forget who said it, they lean into this for PvE. And this is where I don't want them to touch PvE because Void is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got to be careful.
You got Void. They're leaning into Wells now, which is fine. I'm learning to build into Wells now, which is fine. Volatile rounds and those things. And you got the mods and aspects that go for it. But if they neuter PvE just to make PvP a little more balanced, they need to split that down the middle and make sure they keep them separate because PvE is fun. Then you can go try and balance PvP.
Lately.
Which they have.
They have been doing it.
But I just want to make sure they don't
lately,
and then of course they take the one solar helm for Titans, and before everything launches, nerf that in the ground. The new one this season is toast.
You sound like you're going through it as a Titan. What can we do to help? What can we help?
Let's see. We went through it with Stasis, which was absolute shit for Titans for an entire year. And then I was like, nerf, now granted, in PvE, Titan's fun. I like my Overshield, like it's fun. Bubbles.
Titan is super viable in PvE and in raids and valuable.
But it's just in PvE. Now, I will say in PvP, I don't think it's as bad because my Overshield, I can guarantee you, is probably as frustrating as. But I will also say if there's an invisible hunter, so I'm like, where's invisible? The thing that you can shoot an invisible hunter and they don't become uninvisible.
Oh, word?
They hold it.
Chill, that's beastie.
Oh, and then they can keep it forever. You can basically be invisible nearly infinitely the way that is done. There are builds for that. It's
really ninjas.
Yeah, but I was like, but my Overshield does make it to where it's like, hey, I'm just going to pop this shield like facing a doorway. So anywhere in front of this doorway, I'm constantly regenerating the Overshield. I'm like, I can be annoying too. I get that. So it's not as bad as like Behemoth. I get that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
But and remember y'all, the one-eye mask days.
Yeah.
Remember them days.
Of course.
Okay.
Handheld Supernova. Handheld Supernova. Okay. Don't forget those days.
Just saying,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's always been imbalance.
Oh, no. You Warlocks can kiss my hindquarters.
Yeah, there's always been imbalances in Crucible. And just to be clear, I'm not saying like, oh, Titan's got a bad rep. I'm just saying all of the powers that were given, Overshield, Healing, Devour, Invisibility, none of them feel like they were designed for Crucible. And they almost certainly weren't, right? And so when you bring those into an ultra competitive sandbox like Trials, it isn't super interesting or fun to see all of these different overpowered, not PvP design mechanics being exploited to play the game in really weird ways. And so I'm not saying, oh, boo-hoo Titans. I'm saying
I'm just being
the PvP sandbox feels bad. No matter what class you're playing on, it feels bad, and they need to tune it before I'm going to play. That's all. It's like, I'm just going to stay out of there and let them figure it out. So
no doubt.
That's it. That's it. I mean, this is the problem of PvP and Destiny, is that we're always the stepchild, where they think about us after everything else is done and squared away. And so, I'm just going to wait. That's it. I'm going to wait for them to fix it, and they'll come back, and I'm sure it'll be fine. So.
And Trav, to be honest,
the thing is,
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The thing is that like when they do it, when solar gets that treatment, that's going to be the same. That's going to be overpowered. Yep. And then when they do arc, the same, that'll be overpowered. So I hope they don't neuter it all too much, because like stasis is a bit, a bit lackluster now, isn't it? Because they've took everything out of it near enough. I mean, it's still,
they nerfed it for an entire
usable,
year. Yeah,
but it took them long enough. I don't know if they would have been better to release it all at once, all the light subclasses, instead of doing it season by season like they are going to do.
Yeah.
Because if the way that Void is now, if they then neuter it to that it's just a bit crap, I think it's gonna be a shame. If they would have done them all at once, then they could have balanced it a bit better. Because they're going to have to do the same job again and again. And that's probably why they've done it like that. Because if they would have done all three at once,
there would have been so many broken things in there.
it would have absolutely broken the game.
That sandbox would, it's like, that's honestly the reason they're doing that has to just be for development. As much polish as they can do before it gets sent out the door, knowing it's still probably going to be broken. And then taking that season to tweak while the other half of the dev team is building the next one. Same cycle is going to continue because, you're going to get Void 3.0. You're going to have throwing hammers that are all of a sudden busted in sunspots and weird stuff going on. You're going to have 60,000 little arc souls flying everywhere. I mean, stuff's going to be chaos when some of this stuff launches. And we know it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be great.
And it's just kind of what we expect. And this is why I think season 17 is going to be maybe solar. And then season 18 is arc. And then season 19, before we get to Lightfall, is going to be, let's see if we can get some of this stuff in check on this final season of no new subclasses before maybe we get like a poison subclass, or if we get anything else coming in the future, which throw a wrench into everything again. So it does keep them busy for sure. But it is weird when you go, hey, I got a void shield and that thing gives me an overshield now. Or if I do a shoulder charge, I get an overshield. And then you go into another subclass and you're like, back to void. It just, it doesn't feel that great. So it is one of those where I'm with you. It's like the 6 months of waiting for whatever that last subclass is. It's going to be a long wait.
Yeah, I agree. My final point was just, I actually agree with Grandad. I think it's overpowered by design.
Yeah.
I think they literally use it as a marketing tool.
Yeah.
Look how cool this new thing that we made, guys. Look at all this stuff. And to Travis's point, none of this is with PvP. This is, hey, man, you saw that trailer? Don't you want to use Child of the Old Gods? Don't you want to use volatile rounds and blow stuff? You could be a living, well-making machine. Look at this build. And you sell it, you put those trailers, and I ain't gonna lie, I finally got the I'm very happy. I will not curse out Lost Sectors no more. On my third attempt, I got the Warlock boots. I was very happy.
Still haven't gotten it.
Yeah. They're excellent. They're excellent. But when I got them, I'm like, okay, this build is broken. Like, this is just nonsense what I'm doing right now. Like, I get Devour by putting a rift down and Overload on any gun by just putting a rift down.
Yeah,
that I was like, oh, this is. I'm gonna have way too much fun with it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's marketing. It's marketing, and then they reel it in because I believe the guys that they had on was it
Kevin Giannis. Firing range. They had Kevin Giannis and Chris Proctor.
They noticed.
They said that about stasis, didn't they? On that, they knew it was what was his term? It was a bit hot. What was it?
I think they said they brought
it out. It was a bit hot.
A bit hot.
Yeah, I think they brought it down 4 times after launch or something. They knew it was going to be.
Yeah, they did.
So it's like, I'll be kind of curious how much of this, here's a cool thing, and let's bring it in balance, because we're going to do a yo-yo of that. It seems like all year, and then Lightfall's going to be the big yo-yo again.
I feel like
Yeah.
we've just accepted this, but the thing is, it doesn't have to be this way. They could
That is
build
true.
they could build the new abilities, Void 3.0, with a PvE and a PvP build in mind. But I feel like they've always PvP's always been an afterthought where they're like, well, let's build it for the PvE experience and then we'll fix it in post when it comes
Yes.
to PvP. And I
Yeah,
feel like
literally.
that is not a great philosophy. Like the fact that we just have to deal with the chaos in the PvP community. So they need to, like E has been saying, like everybody's been saying forever, they need to even more further separate kind of the damage outputs and some of the abilities and the way they work, and just make it a little bit better at launch, because I don't think it feels good. It was funny when they did it once, for laser tag weekend, because PvP was in such a bad spot at that point, and I still feel like that was an intentional marketing ploy. They were just like, let's make this laser tag just insane to get the community jazzed. But I feel like it's kind of lost a little bit of its novelty since the days of stasis, when it was like broken for a year, and then now it's like it just doesn't feel good. They need to fix the way that they're deploying these new abilities, and not break PvP, or at least be quicker to fix it. It just there's too much wrong
That's my biggest hope for the Sony acquisition, the resources, because I honestly just think it's a business decision. They literally, whatever the live team can't handle, in conjunction with them, really their focus is still, this is a PvE game. They to me, they're very data driven and analytic driven, and they know where their base is playing. So hopefully this could, I'm hoping that influx, besides movies,
I think you're gonna keep waiting on the influx.
I'm too hopeful.
I think there's gonna be a brain drain at Bungie, because Sony wants to make 10 other games as a service game, and I think they're gonna be using a lot of the Bungie staffing to do that. I think it's gonna be the exact opposite of what you guys are saying, but I'll be happy if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to monitor to see what happens moving forward with this acquisition.
It's like final other thing I'll say for what's going on before we get to TWAB. Good luck in Gambit dodging those Ariana Vow shots. Best of luck to everybody. Ariana Vow will one-shot body shot you.
Yeah.
It's getting PvE damage values for a PvP type interaction. So you can one-shot body somebody with, and there are a few other guns that are broken too. It's not the only one, but Ariana's is one-shot body. So it's like Gambit is
it's
Gambit's
brilliant.
busted.
Season of the Ariana. We're gonna get a new emblem with a hole going through our head. And Eris's picture.
No, the hole will be going through the body now, Cog. I think you underestimate how easy it is to get
That'll be the rain symbol. The rain symbol.
Grief.
No, it'll be through the leg, but the eyes will be dead. So it's like a leg worm killed them.
It's like a shoelace tackle, but the shoelace shot. Like, I shot him in the toe, dead. So
this
anyway,
is great. I didn't even
Gambit.
know this.
Yeah, go look up a Gambit clip or something. It's kind of crazy. So
I
if you want Invader kills,
I enjoyed Gambit this week. I'd really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Me too.
I wasn't using Ariana's, but one of my fight team was, and we just made sure we had our damage down, so it don't go, so the boss didn't go through all three phases.
Yep.
And we were just like wiping teams out. It was great.
Sounds like you've been one of
Ariana's. Ting, ting.
You've been one of the Gambit terrorists in there, yeah.
Yeah, but I was getting killed off it as well, so it's fair game, isn't it?
Yeah, like everybody technically can at this point. Well, we also got this thing called the TWAB today, and got a little interesting stuff in it for a change, which is not, I would say for a change. We've had so much going on in game, we haven't needed much in the TWAB, but we did get some interesting. We got our first calendar. They let the season kind of settle, so you got our first calendar. So this week is Iron Banner, the new PsyOps Battlegrounds. Next week, Legend PsyOps Battlegrounds. So I'm guessing that's going to be about 1550 for a level, if that holds true to like the missions we've got. What do you guys see coming from Legend that's different than it is now?
It better be a good reward.
I was going to be as like better chance at deep sight weapons, more of that Risen Umbral energy. There's not a whole lot that I'm going to need to go farm Legend for, so I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be.
It could be double perks on the weapons, couldn't it? Selectable perks.
Knowing Bungie, yep.
Maybe high stat armor.
See
what else they're going to do.
Good call.
I will definitely say at the war table, if you do pick up, like if you focus into the war table armor, solid stats so far. I've done it a few times, and each one's 63 to 66. Like they're all pretty spiky distribution. So if you are in need of armor and don't already have like 12 sets, then if you're new, it's not a bad place to spend it. The focusing for a weapon, man, that crap is expensive though. I did a video, it's 9 for a weapon, and it is very pricey. So it's like, honestly, if you have a lot of Umbral engrams, you got like 9, just dump them into just the gear one that's like 1. And I've honestly, you can either get 1 weapon for 9, or you can get 9 pieces of gear if you have enough Umbral engrams. And I've gotten like multiple red outlines from doing that. So depending on your Umbral engram to Risen Umbral energy ratio, there are better ways to spend that. But anyway,
here's my proposal for a Legend PsyOp Battlegrounds. You guys ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So you get in Legend PsyOp Battlegrounds, you get to replay through all 4 weeks of the PsyOp Battlegrounds story. But if you play through the Legend version, and the final week, when you get to the part where Crow kills everybody, you get to slap him and go, "No, stop it! Don't do that."
that would be worth the payoff. Hit A,
that would for sure be
to
worth
slap.
it. Yeah,
hit A to slap. Yeah.
Don't do that. Stop it. And then it changes the story. Yeah.
Or you get a snazzy little feather suit as an ornament. That'd be good, wouldn't it? I've had my eye on that suit.
You mean armor? Yeah.
Yeah, Crow's kind of fire.
It's lovely, isn't it?
We also get Valve the Disciple challenges. So it's like if you've been running the raid a few consistent times, we've got our run down pretty packed. I mean, it's like hour, 75 minutes, depending on, it's pretty smooth with our group if you got a decent at this point, especially if you have roles in the, exhibition section. If you have your roles in that one pretty well defined, it's pretty smooth all the way through. So challenges will be interesting. So it'll probably start on totems first, do it in a different way, and then you've got just the different ways to do certain things. So I'll be kind of curious what the challenges are. Do you guys have any speculation of how they're going to change up the encounters? Because you got totems, caretaker, exhibition, and then of course Rulk. Do you guys have any thoughts of how they would do challenges? Like what specific thing are you going to need to do? Because what was one of the ones in VOG where you can't kill one of the big champions or the guys for the totems until they're actually dunking on it. So you're like,
yeah.
So I know there are certain
That's
triumphs.
one of their favorites. Yeah, one of their favorite, the go-tos is like, you can't do anything more than once. So I could see like,
I know that's going to happen.
I could see like a different person has to go into the hall to get the emblem and the caretaker encounter every time. Or, somebody, only one person can shoot each of the totems every time or something like that. It'll be like weird where it's like everybody's rotating positions and people are going to be like, no, but I've only ever staggered the ogre. This is the worst. And I'll be like, yeah, well, learn to do everything.
Isn't that one of the triumphs already, though?
Yeah, I think there's some triumphs in there. Yep.
On each, a few of my friends have done the triumphs, but because I've been helping people, I've not really looked at them. Because I know the first one is you've got to wait to kill the yellow bars until they're actually attacking the obelisk.
Yes, I saw that one.
Yeah. I hate that.
They have to shoot the obelisk, and then you can...
Yeah. So you can forget having any chain reaction or Galahan on or
you know what I don't like? I don't like any challenges that are like, for this challenge you have to play Destiny poorly. Like you have to not kill the ads.
Yeah.
Like come on, man.
It's like those are not fun challenges. You're like, hey, I'm really good at ad clearing, efficiency, built into void. Hold. Wait. But they're walking closer. Hold on. What about this thing we're trying to defend? You got to let him shoot it first. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
Like what? It's so, the challenges do seem counterintuitive. Like VOG's another example of that as well. What was it you had to, what was on Gatekeeper? The Gatekeeper challenges, I think I tried to help Fallout do that like one time. And that was the only one we didn't end up doing because you had to kill them only with the shield or something. Like there's certain weird things. And it's like those don't, it's mechanics heavy to a point where it's not fun.
Yeah.
So,
but then on that shield one, it used to give you shield energy if you picked up orbs, and then last season, they took it so orbs didn't give you the shield energy, which made it even worse because I was helping people with the master challenges for the last season, and it was a lot harder last season to do it because there was a cheese, but we won't go into that.
But still, like that's one of those things when you're like, just because you balanced the game, this triumph that's sitting in the game now became even more of a pain in my butt. Like, why?
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't seem necessary. So we'll see what the challenges are. I was like, I'm trying to think about totems, as you said, if that's the challenge, that's the triumph. If it's the same one that's on there, then yeah, you'll get to wait. It's just like master difficulties are going to be a little more annoying when it gets around to trying to do a challenge on master or anything. But
my only concern is I believe they confirmed that the what you call is going to have the master difficulty. Oh no, we ain't up to the master difficulty. We're up to the challenge.
We're there yet.
When we get to the master difficulty, yeah, we'll get to that. I got some thoughts.
So yeah, we'll see what those are. Those will kind of go on a weekly basis for a little while since you've got 4 encounters, basically 4 challenges. So we'll see what those are. Trials Labs Zone Capture will be on the 1st. I don't hate Zone Capture, I'll be completely honest, as a random solo player. Just because, for one, they made it to where it's always a neutral location. So it's like A, B, or C, but it's dead center. And it makes you use different part of the maps. But to me, it would also help the randoms, because I always tend to go by myself. And whether you're against a 3-stack, I tend to get stomped. Most people do if you're against a 3-stop and you're solo. But if there's like 6 random people in there, everybody tends to head in the general direction and kind of works together a little better than, hey, I'm going to be the crazy guy and go flank and die in a corner and be useless. So the zone capture does actually tend to guide the idiots in the right direction sometimes, which I appreciate. April 5th is the day for Grandad. Grandmaster Nightfalls open up, so you'll be cranking on those, I know. Get your light level up. I'm sure it's going to be, what's it going to be, 1585, I'm guessing, with Artifact, and I don't know. I still wish they would do Grandmasters as contest, because all that Grandmaster is, you have to get up to a certain level, but you can't be above it. I still wish that was contest.
I think it'll be, if it's like previous seasons, which it probably will be it be 1575, I think?
Maybe 1575. 1575 probably. 85. I was like, 85 sounded a stretch. I'm already
there, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I was like, that won't be too hard.
Premium experience.
Yeah, if you get your pinnacle grind done over the next few weeks, and then, you got your artifact up to about 15, 16, you'll be fine. I think it's not going to be hard to get there. April 8th, mine, Trials Lab Freelance is here. I just appreciate that because I don't face a 3-stack. Ever. It's just 6 random people. Sometimes you're going to win. Sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes the gods are on your team. Sometimes they're on theirs. But I do tend to, like, I played Trials last weekend and I got my 7 wins. I didn't go flawless, but I got my 7 wins, got my 50 rounds, got some reputation. And now that I got my 7 wins, I can use the reputation card every time. So every match I play is getting me more reputations and engrams for the rest of the season. And being as the Alacrity perk will give you solo benefits.
Yeah.
That's going to be good for Lost Sectors, solo, anything you do. So for me, it's like, yeah, I'm going to need to go get some of those. Then we got Iron Banner on the 12th, so no trials. Vow of the Disciple Master Raid on the 19th. So Cog, you had thoughts here. What is up?
Yeah, this one I was brought to my attention. I didn't realize. So it looks like adept weapons are coming with this, but they're not craftable.
From what I've heard.
So yeah, from what I heard. So the rumors that there's not craft. So my question is going to be, if they're not craftable, which we're going to assume they're going to have adept perks, mods or what have you, like, what will the advantage, like the advantage should have to be substantial, because once you are able, right? Because look, this is how I'm looking at it, right? Insidious is my favorite weapon right now out of all. I love that pulse. Like, it is the dad pulse. It's E's favorite gun. I try to tease him as much as I can because I'm.
Oh, then you got it, and you're like, oh, this thing's great. Yeah, I finally got one. I finally got one this week. So I got
what you got?
Rapid Hit Vorpal was my first one.
Okay,
so
decent,
Rapid Hits works.
Decent.
Rapid Hit on a pulse, you get like the stack start really fast, so that works. But yeah,
bro,
I loved how you're like, oh, this is a great gun. I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
the 4-burst pulse rifle feels fantastic, and I finally got one back.
Can't wait when ARC 3.0 drops and they do something with that, because it's gonna be crazy with that. And I have Dragonfly on it, and it's just ignorant. I love it. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, the goal for me is keep raiding, craft. I want to get potential Dragonfly Rampage, which is a rare combo that can happen on that pulse.
Yep.
So I'm saying to myself, okay, if I get that and I grind, right, and I have enough resonance and you do enough raids, what is going to pull me off if it's not craftable? Like, what adept mods could they do to make it really worth the while to not craft the basic version of it? That's my question to you guys.
I don't think they're going to surprise. I don't. The way the perks are set up in the raid right now, as they already have some very cool and unique perks in Vow of the Disciple as it is. There's some unique ones in there. Then you've got the origin trait. I mean, all the time
Which is
lost
great.
did is open up like Adept. So you had your Adept big ones, which some people can find benefit for that to have a little more flexibility for the other slot. And then it was, well, like a baby stat boost. And now the Masterwork is even less needed. They don't even say the Masterwork's worthwhile just in case you do want the stats. I don't know what they're going to do for these. I would love to be surprised, but my expectations are so low that Master is going to be worthwhile, being as we do have crafting, unless every Master drop is red outline. Then if you ran that for, a few weeks, then you could like burn through your crafting a little bit more to get people in and used to it. That would eventually come to an end once you got your crafting builds. That I don't honestly know. Like, to me, I can't picture them not doing if it's not game breaking, I don't think it's going to be worth it to do it on Master. I still wish they brought contest back, but that's a different discussion we've already had.
Trav,
Granddad,
Granddad, what you guys think?
I was going to say, Granddad, what do you
think?
think about Master? Are you excited? Do you not like? Where are you at?
I just opened up Destiny then because when Cog said about Rampage, Dragonfly, Insidious, I thought,
Oh yeah,
I'm sure I've got one of them. So I just opened up Destiny to look at.
You have it?
Yeah, I've got one of them. Yeah,
so
yeah.
jealous.
That's
I'll have to
amazing.
test that out.
That
Yeah,
is,
but-
I love that post. I soloed that. So I did a Lost Sector with it. It's just, it's so
Right.
good. It's so good.
I've not even shot that weapon. I've got.
Oh,
I've just done a
it's so
search
good.
there because I've just been using that
Granddad.
forbearance in that slot.
Yeah.
I've got
That's-
3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 8 of them, and I've not even shot it. To my shame, so I will definitely use that.
Yeah, pull that out of
Yes.
the vault and fire it once in a while. Feels pretty
Fire,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I will do. I will.
I will give you guys this. A big Vow is moving up my rankings, and for
Okay.
a different reason other than what you guys have said.
All right.
I'm a big proponent of
the rewards.
And I have to say, I haven't gotten the exotic, so I can't speak on that. I've seen videos, shout out to Dado, and shout out DJ Oros, who got the damn thing with us, Trav, that night.
I
I
watched
was
Cool Guy get it. He made a video. Fallout probably borrowed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen people have it, but I
But-
haven't touched it yet.
I will say almost all of these weapons are impressive.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
kinetic stasis fusion,
Yeah.
amazing.
Game changer
The,
for that slot, because now you can go
yes.
stasis energy primary.
Bro, I can have
Yeah.
stasis built. You could do a chill clip. I got a chill clip roll with perpetual
Ooh,
motion.
nice.
I'm just destroying stuff with that. I love it. Insidious, literally, in my opinion, the best legendary right now. In my opinion, what am I?
I'm not arguing.
The wave frame. The wave frame. The
Arc.
one that,
Yeah,
that
Fort
Granddad
Grant's what he
talked
said.
about.
Yeah.
I love wave frames.
Oh, I love wave frames.
Martyr's Retribution. I kept that in my vault just because I
man.
loved using it. And then Deafening Whisper, but this one. The only problem is that it's volatile rounds. It's not volatile.
Yeah,
Exactly,
You can't
yeah.
play with it.
You need that
Yeah, you
definitely
can't play with it.
whisper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we avoid
Yeah.
3-point. But that, I mean, I don't have a good roll on the linear yet. But you know,
I got
it's
a
good.
focused
What you
fury,
got?
4th times the charm.
Yeah, that's
So if you can hit half the
God roll,
crits,
isn't it?
and then you get more shots back in that magazine, now you're getting that bonus damage for a lot more. No, that's
Mhm.
it. I was taking that through practicing. I was practicing. What was I practicing? I was just like soloing some of the missions. It hits. It hits well.
Yeah, and submission. If like I'm a guy that never got a good multi-mac in the kinetic spot for submission, it hits. I just don't have a good roll.
The
Submission's
900.
good.
Yep, feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good
and
SMG.
combine that with the most underrated perk in the intrinsic origin trait with this: just get a couple of hits, reload, get energy back. Like it's like a baby.
That's a little bit of
devourer.
health. Yeah, it's a little bit of
Yeah,
health.
it's a little bit, but depending if you get more kills or more, you get a bigger chunk back. These raid weapons are really good. The only thing that may hold it back is collective. The pulse is very, very specific. You have to run a void build. You have to run suppression weaken and all this stuff I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, the
But-
exotic is tricky. Yeah.
It's tricky. It's very,
Yeah.
it's very particular.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
as a whole, this is up there. I have to give this
Yeah.
Vile Disciple weapons
The legendaries
are really worth it.
All
Yeah.
very good. Yeah. And
And
especially
the design as well.
I love the
Design
barrel.
is
Love
top
the
tier.
barrel.
Yeah. Like we've been asking for a long time, haven't we, to have weapons and armor that are as if they're taken from the raid. Elements
Yes.
from the design of the raid.
So
and this is what
perfect.
they've done. I think like some of the armor does look ridiculous, but I think it should look ridiculous because
Yeah.
it's raid armor.
It is. It is a bit over the
They've
top.
done a good job. Yeah. But about the Adept versions, like you said, they're going to have to make it. And I don't think they are going to do.
Right.
It'll be a little bit 2 on each column, won't it? Something like that.
Plus
But,
2 stability.
Yeah, so that's why I was like,
Yeah.
I will run that normal raid. I would work on sherping more people in that normal raid because I find it fun. It's a cool experience. Nurad said it. He's like, I don't think we've had a raid this straightforward that's also so engaging. Nicely stated because it's cool. It's interesting. The bosses you see, then you get a run and the cool mechanics, a new boss, and it's also not crazy long, and it's well done. But like Master just seems. I would rather go die 100 times in Elden Ring happily to like learn a boss fight that I'm learning skill on than deal with Master, because my issue with Master, and I wish Grandmasters actually like come down to 1550 and be contest there, so you don't have to spend time just playing, just to level, to make yourself closer to the level of the activity, and that is just a time thing. And that's the only thing. That's why contest was a tight window when we finally got exhibition and we nailed it. I was like, that felt good, but we were running so smooth and we got it all. And Rolk, we were like really close and we never got it. But if contest was still there, eventually the next week we could have worked on it. We could have that contest and get contest level rewards.
Yeah.
The Master on most things.
I don't get it.
I will do Legend on most things, but Master on most things, I just don't generally enjoy. And that's just me being like, I would rather do other things than just be a time thing. Like
You kind of share that.
Yeah, it's like Master Vox Obscura. I'm close, and it's like I do want to practice because that's like I'll work on a video for that one. But that's the only one. But it's like the raid is very enjoyable, and it does take coordination, but it just seems unnecessary to be. Hey, let me get you up to 1580. Well, how do you get there? Well, your gear stops here. So then if you get 20 more on your artifact after doing the pinnacle grind, which is just a time investment, and in theory, you could overlevel it. You could be plus 25, plus 30, and then it's probably going to feel a little better. But what is the time to get plus 25 or 30 on your artifact now in a short season, not a 6-month season? I've never been that high on my season pass. So sorry for my rant. Anyway.
No, good point.
I think it's absolutely just an opportunity missed by them not to capitalize on contests. But for even adding that over 24 hours was good, wasn't it? But it wasn't enough, obviously. But just have it as a selectable.
Yep, that's all you got to do. Put it in there.
People can have that choice. It's you don't. I still think there should be obviously a 24-hour emblem, a day one emblem, but there should be a different emblem for contest that's season long.
Good point.
Absolutely agree with that one. Yeah, we were talking about different ideas of, if it was, contest, turn the toggle on at 24 hours so then you can keep going. And if you want to do the 24 and you want to be the crazy person, honestly, I thought the 48 for the health of all the players was still good. Yeah. That was actually a nice piece. But I get the 24-hour race for the crazy dedicated. The health of the players would be the argument for the 48. But either way, contest should be a toggle. Like a day after that raid is out, it should always be there because it's such it's a really cool experience. And you said if there's a different emblem, it just lets one of the artists be like, hey, here's another cool emblem.
Yeah. It makes it's difficult, it's challenging, but for whatever reason, some of us, aren't cut out for having been up for 48 hours or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And some of us it takes a bit to get into something and to learn something. Do you know what I mean? So we need that extra time. But we know we could nail it. We could easily nail it if you had more time. But I do still think that you should have that 24 hours for the peak people who want to invest for that first 24 hours.
Cool.
So sorry, I had a little lag spike there, chat. If you guys do have any viewing issues, it should be back. Every so often, my internet just drops for 2 seconds and we're good again. So that's all that was.
Trav, your thoughts on it?
You guys covered a lot. I was trying not to interrupt anybody.
I'm good.
For the adept weapons, I personally think adept weapons have never been worth it. I've never really grinded for them. This is somebody who has pretty much all the adept like trials weapons and a couple of the grandmaster ones, but I don't think the adept weapons have ever been worth it. So I think that doesn't really change much. People are still going to grind for their god rolls more than their, adept rolls. I think, and then grandmaster nightfall to me and master raid both feel like not very fun activities because they just sort of artificially inflate the difficulty by making you feel way weaker to the enemies, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering it's an end game activity. And then to E's point, having to grind to the max rank just so that you can feel underpowered in that activity is insane to me. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, grind to the most powerful so that you can feel like you're like a level 1 character just getting destroyed. By a single scion just meleeing you to death.
Oh yeah, one shot.
So I've never really felt like those activities were super fun or enticing, and definitely not rewarding enough to be worth all the juice is not worth the squeeze on those things.
Preach.
Absolutely not. Yeah, for sure. So I don't think this really changes a lot. It'll be there for the super hardcore, for the people who really are masochists or just really dedicated and want to challenge themselves. And I think that's fine. Like, yeah, it should definitely be there for that. I think it's a good thing that Bungie is not gating anything important behind those activities, because I feel like that would really piss a lot of people off because it's not a particularly fun experience. So I think it's fine as it exists. It gives them something, but not too much, and it's definitely not for everyone. I mean, the raid already isn't for everyone, so I'd be willing to bet if only 3% of the community does raids, I bet you it's like 0.00001% that does master raids. Like that's crazy. That's a crazy.
That's going to be a short list for sure. And it's like we were in chat sitting there talking about it too. It's like the Hive in the campaign, so much cooler than Champions, and all the higher difficulties do is just shove more champions in a lot of places. Like the fact that we have Hive Guardians, cool experiences. Got to deal with them a different way. Got to actually move in, close the gap. Those are cool experiences. Yeah, crushing the ghost. But it's just like,
the best feeling.
Here's 12 unstoppable champions instead of 6, and you're like, I don't. Why? It's it, and then it forces your loadouts too. And we've talked about all this stuff before, but it's just the limitations of all of that stuff gets to be a little frustrating. But one thing before we get too long, Granddad, you still good on time? Okay, cool. Okay. I know it's a little later across the world for you, but thought I'd still check and see because I did want to touch on.
So I was just gonna say the ghost crushing.
Yeah.
The one part that doesn't really make sense is that if you play as a warlock or hunter character, they also just crush it in their hand. And I feel like the animation should be different. Like if you're a warlock, you should like grab it and like try to crush it, and they're like, and then you like hold it out to your titan friend, and then he comes. I feel like that would slammed it.
I actually liked what you just said, but I wasn't going to be quite as disrespectful as you were going to be. I thought the warlocks could like take it and just like energetically like kind of do like an energetic crush, and then the hunter theoretically would hold it and stab it with its knife. Those would be cool. That. You don't have to be quite as disrespectful, but that's totally fine.
I think that in lieu of spending all that money on animations, maybe they could just hand it to a Titan. I don't know.
I was just thinking as well about that master question. That it's like for Master Vogue, you had like adept palindrome. So like every man and his dog. I remember me and my mates like helped so many people like through Master Templar just to get an adept palindrome for PvP.
Fatebringer.
I remember taking
Fatebringer.
Sorry, Fatebringer. I remember taking people. Yeah, I remember taking people through who were like 100, 200 levels. Under. Wow. Templar. We just like bake him, and they'd stand in a well, or they'd have divinity. I think we took the lowest we took through, if I remember rightly. It was something like 1,200.
Wow.
So 150 levels under the season thing. But that was a reason for that, wasn't it? But I just can't see what they're going to do for this one. It depends what caretaker's holding, I suppose, isn't it? Or the boss, what weapons behind there. But you never know. There might be some crazy reason why PvPers want one of the guns as adepts,
because like what would you expect?
Some intrinsic Icarus grip or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like because what was Vogue Master was, obviously the adept kind of socket and a little bit of the stats, but it was more
Right.
like it was the curated roll was the option, basically. Like if you got the time lost, you got the curated, which had kind of the god roll on the bottom and maybe a couple random ones on the top. That was the general idea.
Yeah.
So
That was. Yeah, because if you got opening shot with the explosive payload, that was basically the god roll on it for PvP.
Yep.
But yeah, for these weapons, like you say with the crafting, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good one to think about that.
I was thinking, I doubt they do this, but I did like my first, like, I'm Master Nightfall, like, what's the highest level of Nightfall just recently?
Grandmaster or Master? Yeah.
Master, I think. And I got a hothead that had
I saw your tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, 2 origin trait perks. You had the Vanguard one, and then they had this one, Stunning Recovery.
That's on normal Nightfalls. You can get the same thing, though. Nightfalls will drop strikes and Nightfall Origins. They do both.
Basically, I say that to say this, that, like, what if, I doubt it, but what if they give an additional origin trait with, what you call it, the Master Disciple?
Yeah.
Maybe that could be an interesting
raid
one.
A brand new raid one.
Yeah, second raid one. Yeah, that would be that would be spicy. Be interesting. Yeah,
with the hothead, that means all that time last season we spent grinding the hotheads. We need to do it again now.
Yeah,
here I come.
That's that soft
because
sunsetting.
It's got all loading holster as well. It's got all loading holster.
Yes,
they've added new perks to.
Oh yeah, I love mine.
Yeah, that's that soft sunsetting that happens every so often.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else everything else on the calendar is basically Iron Banner, Trials, Labs, Freelance. They said they're going to pepper in some Gambit Labs. That'll be entertaining when it happens. And then Guardian Games, May 3rd through 24th. Do you want to spend any time talking about Guardian Games?
No. And I have a proposal for Gambit Labs, is they should try turning it off for a week to see how that experiment works. That'd be a fun little lab. No Gambit in the game.
And on that bombshell, for those who watch Top Gear, crafting. So I'm going to go through this in a couple points. I recorded my little video on this one, but I want to kind of get your guys' takes. So the biggest things about crafting are, obviously, people have been doing crafting for a little while. There has been some feedback. We have vented it for a few weeks in here. Grandad, if you have any amazing feedback pieces, let us know, but I'm sure yours have been something similar. They said one feedback piece in particular deals with the crafting element caps. Everybody screams this loud from the rafters, as some players may have been maxing out their elements frequently. Starting next Tuesday with hotfix 4.004, we'll be increasing element caps, these are the legendary elements, from 250 to 1,000. Okay, that doesn't seem so bad. Don't worry, I'm about to get real angry. And then neutral elements, the cap will move from 8,500 to 10,000. So we go from 250 to 1,000. You go 4x for capacity, and then you go 8,500 to 10,000. I don't even think that's 1.2. It is the smallest little bump in neutral, and that's the one you can spend 4,000 on one weapon. The max you can spend on one weapon is 140.
Yep.
Why is that not like 50,000? Come on. Yeah. And then that takes me into the next point. Next season, and this is
get rid of it all.
Yeah,
this is good. Thank God. I have no idea how all these different currencies made it into the game, because it was a bad idea the second we learned about it, and Bungie immediately agreed. How did this get into the game? It's so crazy to me.
So next season, they are removing Ruinous, Adroit, Mutable, Energetic, and Drowned, which is from the raids. Only neutral element will remain, which makes the cap even worse unless they change the costs.
Now get rid of Glimmer. Now get rid of Glimmer, Bungie. Get rid of it all.
Get rid of the artifact power level. Get rid of everything.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Yeah.
Just make it Call of Duty. I don't want any inventory.
Make it 8 so you can stack as many Ascendant Shards as you can. And you don't have to masterwork shit exotics.
Yes.
So you can keep them in your vault.
Yeah, 99 for some of that stuff.
Grandad. You don't get it. Those golf balls, they're so shiny. They just take up all that extra memory space in your inventory. And that, it's really a technical limitation.
It's the glitter effects to change the database number from 10 to 99. It's the same digits.
Yeah.
I'm not even a coder, but I have done some coding in my life. It's so intentional it pisses me off. Anyway, I do want to cover this,
over
and then I'll get it.
Over 150 ascendant shards I lost last season out of my postmaster.
See, that's wrong. The amount of work you put in. And that's the thing is, like, they do the limitation, which annoys. It annoys the people who are kind of in the middle level, who play some Grandmasters, may save up a little and then lose it. You do so many Grandmasters, you're swimming in them. You don't, you'll lose them, but you'll get them back like the next day. It's the people who try and save them, who want to do a little more, who want to experiment. It's the people who aren't going to swim in them, which is who they're trying to stop, are going to be the most annoyed. You'll always get them back. But the people who finally started to save a little bit up, and you're like, now I'm capped, that just annoys the middle person. So anyway,
it's Bungie's anti-capitalist message, you know. There's got to be a limit on how much you can own. You know what I mean? It's really a problem in this Destiny.
Yeah, it is a problem.
All right, so the other pieces, I want to read this out so you guys can hear it. One of these is going to make Travis's head explode and then come back to normal. Our initial goals for these currencies was to sustain the interest in non-crafted weapon drops, which picture a funnel web, and to retain the chase of weapons with well-rolled perks in a post-crafting Destiny 2. They've said eventually you're going to have so many crafted weapons. I feel like that is a short-sighted goal, but that's just my opinion. The desire was that the player would continually chase for combinations such as Subsistence Rampage, picture funnel web, to funnel their crafting progression through deep sight weapon completion. While not the only reason we're removing the specific currencies, there are two design changes pre-launch which made the elements ineffectual. We had a currency. This is what honestly I think a lot of people had in their head, myself at least. This is how I thought crafting was going to work. They initially had a currency per trait perk. To craft Rampage, you needed a weapon with Rampage, almost like there was a Rampage currency. However, due to technical limitations and usability issues, too many currencies to track, for example, we opted to heavily simplify the element currencies to the handful we shipped. This unfortunately resulted in a decreased interest in chasing a specific trait. Ascendant alloys and exotic crafting materials that can be found through high-end content. We just lost Travis. If you guys are on audio, he's gone. He's pacing back and forth right now. He's lost his mind.
This is a set the weave rent inbound.
Yep.
That level.
The exotic crafting material that can be found through high-end content, purchased from Rahul, made the remaining condensed elements obsolete. The Ascendant Alloy currency was added after they condensed the elements, and we were unable to resolve the experiential issues between these two currencies prior to launch. They literally knew it was broken. They had a crazier system in mind. That didn't work. They tried to simplify it. Then they put the Ascendant Alloy in there. And then the grind got different. It launched in such a odd state that they knew this was coming early. So one of my questions, why the caps if you already know it's just kind of weird and broken? Two, you know the element, why even cap it now at all? Because it's going away at the end of it's going to be literally deprecated like Iron Banner token. Season 17, no more legendary elements.
Gone. Yeah.
And then they said, since launch, we've also been watching the player conversation, keep tabs on backend data. They're also looking to add more player control over deep sight weapon unlocking of weapon patterns, because that RNG is killer. Continuing to monitor deep sight weapons stockpiling, because people's vaults are now filling up with red weapons because you have capacity caps. It's like you have the answer right here. Oh no, people are stockpiling. Caps up, done. Solved. It's not hard. As well as the resonant alloy acquisition rates and behavior. We're also discussing feedback around reshaping costs for those who wish to experiment more frequently with their trait selections. No one is going to spend Ascendant Alloy to experiment back. Does this feel good? How about does this one? How's this enhanced one fit? You just spent like 10,000 materials just to try and experiment, and now you're broke and you can't even pick. So that's everything. You can tell my tone, but I want to get Granddad's thoughts on this one first. No, actually, I got to go Travis. Granddad, sorry. We got to get Travis because he just had an out-of-body experience. So,
guys, okay, I need someone, New Rad or Rook or someone, to go back into the archives of The Last Word and find the episode where we talked about crafting and my fears about the currencies that they were adding. Because in that episode, I specifically mentioned that I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there is a currency for every perk and that we're looking at 40 new currencies. And everyone on the panel called me insane. They were like, there's no way that'll ever happen. They wouldn't even consider it. They're not that crazy. And this just goes to show you guys, Do not underestimate these people. They have a problem. They are addicted to adding currencies to this game, and there is no limits to the levels that they will go to just destroy your brain and just make your inventory overloaded. And we were that close. We were that close to being there. And we got 6, which is way too many. They immediately realized that. But the fact that they even considered a version where there's a currency for every perk should scare the crap out of every Destiny player ever. Because this is, that is unbelievable, guys. It's unbelievable. And whew, go find that episode. I want you to find that episode because it needs to be captured forever. I cannot believe this.
The classic line is because the game limited them from doing it.
Yeah, there were technical
limitations. That's the only reason.
If
they had their way, that Sony money that they're getting might enable them to add thousands of currencies to their game, guys. That is what you're looking down the barrel of. Thank God for technical limitations. Thank God for them. I cannot believe it. That's the only reason. It's unbelievable.
Mental.
Yeah.
There should be one currency. There should be one crafting currency. That's it. It should have been gun materials or whatever weapon materials that they had for the gunsmith. It should have been something like that. My God.
Yeah, this is nuts. And the thing about it too is, besides this, like, we still have the issue with the caps on materials, right? It still didn't completely go away. And then my thing is that the elephant in the room that they not even mentioned that is my biggest frustration, because I feel this whole thing is a hustle on a low. And I'm going to tell you why. These enhanced perks is a straight hustle. Y'all seeing the benefit of these perks? The 0.2 more percentage faster or auto loading holster. What? I am not spending all these alloys for 0.2 extra percent. Like, I want some beefy results if I'm going to do this level. Then they want you to level up the gun and grind. Like, come on. If you're going to, it always comes down to the juice and the squeeze. Like, you have to make this a little bit more beneficial for this. All this is cool. This is cute. What you think you're doing here, but we know, like Travis said, this is due to limitations in the game as opposed to you truly trying to make the player experience easier.
This is where, like, when you get into those enhanced perks, I don't care if you slap 2 combatants, so it doesn't include guardians, on everything and make it a little extra busted if you're going to spend the currency. But as you said, there's only one adaptive munitions seems more worthwhile, because it really takes the multiplier against the wrong type of shield. You build that multiplier up very quickly. That's one of the few that like makes a substantial difference in the amount of damage you output. But yeah, most of these are like, here's the enhanced thing. Also gives you a little stability or a little reload speed. And you're like, I'm spending this Ascendant alloy that I could go farm hard missions or put 6 people together for a wellspring for. And then what bugs me the most about all of this, Granddad, I swear you'll get to talk in a second. Sorry, we're on a rant.
Sorry, Granddad. This is pent up frustration, Granddad. You gotta let us have to get this.
The last thing they get to is the fact that the reshaping costs. If you're going to put 2,000 neutral element and whatever else it costs to go with it, plus the alloy into, say, enhanced archer's tempo, and you're like, but I want to switch. But if I move off of it, I can't switch back. I've bought the currency. I bought it already. You would literally have to buy it again just to experience it. That has to change for the long term. It needs to be a permanent. Eventually you should be able to unlock every perk. Yeah, you could go back to the relic and change the perks, but if you buy them once, should stick. Anyways, Granddad, I want your thoughts on crafting as a whole, because hit us with the knowledge.
Crafting as a whole, I think I'm enjoying it. And I think it's a good addition, but I think they enhanced these enhanced perks. On the morning of the raid, of the day 1 raid, I decided that I wanted enhanced ambitious assassin and enhanced lasting impression on that Palmyra rocket launcher.
Yep. Oh yes.
So I went into Sure Old Chi with my rocket launcher and leveled it up from 0 to 20.
Yeah.
So I spent like 3 hours in Sure Old Chi.
Takes a minute.
But I thought that I thought it was going to put basically enhanced ambitious assassin and this is looking back now, this was stupid to think this. It was going to put 3 in the tube.
That'd be great
instead
if it
of
did.
2.
Yeah.
Enhanced, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
It's going to put 3 in. Doesn't do anything. It just gives it a little bit of a extra.
It does nothing.
It does hardly anything. I think it's more velocity or something like that. It doesn't give you an extra 1, which you would think enhanced ambitious assassin. Call me old fashioned.
Call you old fashioned, but you would think.
I would have thought it'd be an enhanced version of that perk.
Weird. It's so weird that you would think that by the wording saying enhanced ambitious assassin, like it would change that perk. Oh, it gives you.
Oh no.
Oh, it gives you velocity on your. Yep. No, you're not wrong. So anyway, go ahead.
That assassin is not ambitious at all. I would say that assassin is pretty happy with his lot in life. He's not gonna
status quo.
He doesn't want any enhancements.
A content assassin.
Yeah,
content assassin. I'm happy for him. You know what? He found his place in the world.
He's found his level. Yeah. So I grinded it up, and I should have been having a little bit more of a rest, to get ready for the hard slug ahead. But I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna Google it just before I spend all this stuff. I'm gonna Google it, and it came up pages. Enhanced ambitious assassin does nothing. Blah blah blah. I looked at the screen.
Oh my god!
So I went with.
They really did it.
I went with auto loading, and I think I went with auto loading and enhanced explosive light in the end.
Wow.
Which is fine, but another thing that bugs me as well is that you can't in-game, you can't see how much of each material you've got easily without finding a gun which has got that.
I hate that.
It's just simple stuff. And then the cap on resonant alloy as well. I don't get. It's just caps. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my take on it. And I think the enhanced stuff does need. I think some of it is all right, but I think it needs to be explained better what it does, and it needs to be more enhanced.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It needs to actually be enhanced.
Enhanced better. Yeah.
Yes.
It needs to live up to the name enhanced, not tweaked.
Yeah. And another thing is, I went into Witch Queen I had 300 spare slots in my vault, and that's the best it's ever been. If you ask anyone who comes into my stream or who knows me, I was always at around 490 because I'd basically keep exotics or masterworks from collections to save Ascendant Shards, which I was never going to use, but I just felt like I didn't want to. That's what I was getting out of GMs, was to fill my vault up with exotics. So I got rid of all them, and I got into a nice 300 spaces. I'm now at 499. Yeah, because I've just got a load of red weapons.
Yeah, of course.
It literally made the vault situation worse. Because I literally, in good faith, even though I know I'm not going to grind out the weapons when I get them, I literally just throw them in the vault because it's just taking up space. You know what I mean? And I also have a problem to what Grandad said, like leveling up these. I will give the heavy weapons seem to be a little quicker to get done.
I mean, heavy weapons of Suro Chi is about the only way it's reasonable, but otherwise they're slow because it's like 200 kills or activities work too, but. Yeah, it's slow.
Like with a sniper, bruh. Like, come on. Like, it's really painful. And then to get the 0.2% content version of these first, like, nah.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
He said it best when we first started messing around with it. This is literally the beta version of this thing. Like, we are not even at 1.0 yet. We're still figuring it out. What you think? But here's the thing.
Here's the thing. I agree with you, but I feel like just because it's the 1.0 doesn't mean it's going to get better. I mean, we just learned that if Bungie had their way, there would be a different currency for every damn perk. And you guys are saying, oh yeah, well, they'll improve it and make it better. It's like, will they? Dude, imagine if Bungie were in charge of the U.S. economy. Oh, you want to buy milk?
This is going to be a leap.
You want to buy some milk? Well, you got to spend milk bucks on that. Specific currency for that. You want to buy a car? Yeah, you got to spend those car dollars that we made. That specific currency. Like it's so concerning that I don't know if it's going to get better. I mean, I'm really glad that they're getting rid of the other currencies, but part of me is like, well, we'll get rid of the other currencies until we, that new engine comes along. We're able to get 40 currencies. I'm like, what are they going to do? I don't trust them now.
They have a new page on your inventory. You hit tab, go to the next page, and it's just a wall of currency numbers, and you're like, oh God, what have I done?
Yeah, no, the currency system is going to have an A through Z tab, and you're going to have to filter by,
You won't be able to look at it in game. You're going to have all these currencies, but you'll have to open dim. You'll have to open dim to see how many you've got.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, it's third party app. It's in the Bungie app. Yeah, it's in the third party app. Yeah. Crafting. While I like the idea of unlocking a pattern, spending time with a weapon, which I don't love the spending time with the junk perks, because then I know I got to spend my junk perk time with like 0 to at least about 12 or 13, so I can get the perks that I want. Because I don't want to spend it once, then be like, well, I know I really want the 13 perk, because they put the good ones at the end, of course.
Of course.
So somewhere anywhere between 13 and 16, you're going to spend time with a weapon that doesn't feel great. I spent a lot of time with a really, really crappy sidearm. Now that I finally got it, and I may just put it in my vault, but I get why that's there, and like I don't quite know how to balance that. It's like that's not really my big issue, because eventually I can build. Like I got my bow from Season of the Risen with successful warm-up and Archer's Tempo, and when that thing starts lining up precision hits and kills, it fires faster than a bow should, and I love it, and it is amazing. And I could also switch to adaptive munitions. Like, those are really cool things. So many pieces around this system are convoluted, confusing, grindy, and it's just like, it is Destiny, and we know the grind is going to be there, but yeah, the fact that Travis was speculating something that could have been so much worse, and he was right.
Yeah, he was right about that.
And then the fact that now you have only neutral element, but you only have so much, but you're still only going to get this much. There's a lot of work that needs done, it feels like. But yeah, the fact that Travis was as close as he was to, I was like, hey, there's only like 6, and you're like, oh, there's going to be more. There could have been so many more. So
there could have been so many more.
It is. Yeah, there could have been Rampage element, Golden Tricorn element, so many perks.
That would have been chaos. That would have
been just a mess.
That would have been a 7 out of 10 for my GM, I think. What would have happened with that?
So they are going to continue to monitor feedback, but this is probably going to be one of those things that feels finally reasonable in Lightfall, is a hunch. I like the idea of the god rolls being attainable, but it is the process around it definitely needs...
Yeah.
Because the one part I was thinking about as I was recording my little video over this, they're looking to try and make the control over deep sight weapons and unlocking patterns. And I just picture Season of the Risen. Take somebody who doesn't get to play that often, not any of us on this podcast or half the people watching the show. Somebody gets to play a few hours on a weekend, and they get to play the Season of the Risen story, and then they're going to kind of tune in and work on unlocking the war table, but they play a little bit each weekend. There is a perk on week 4 now that your first weapon focus is going to be a deep sight. You get 1 a week. That's a guarantee. So take that person who logs in. Maybe they get the one where you kill the light hoarders. So you get 3 per battleground. They log in. They do 3 battlegrounds. They do a couple other things. Over the course of the remainder of this season, they could get what I'm guessing, like say 11 weapons that have a pattern. I know the pulse rifle takes 5. I know the machine gun takes 5, and that's 10. And you would get 1 more pattern. You could literally, that casual person, depending on how much they play, could maybe unlock half of the Season Risen weapons during the season. For the casual player, that sounds awful.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you still got to spend the time with it, unlock it, and then
Yes.
put the amount of hours into upgrading the weapon to see all the perks. That person's going to get to enjoy their peace of mind pulse rifle in season 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Agreed.
But is that not? I get what you're saying, but is that not fair?
No, it's like
People who don't play the game as much don't get as much of the good stuff.
And
you know what I mean?
Believe me, from my side, I'm sitting there going, I'm 4 weeks in. I've played a lot. I haven't even I've unlocked 2 of the season Risen weapons, and I have almost reset my Risen or the Psyops Battlegrounds. I'm almost on my second reset. So I know how much time I've put in.
Wow.
I'll do like, if I see psychogenic intel full, I'll go do a Risen. I'll go 1 or 2 Battlegrounds, dump it out. Then I'll do Trials or I'll do a Wellspring because I've been farming a bunch of other stuff. I was like, and again, for the hardcore players, can they grind it out? Absolutely. And for the casual player, is it a long-term grind? Sure. But there's a point where the long-term grind feels unattainable.
Right.
To where at that point, it is a little defeating. We say the person's going to walk away after 4 weeks if they want to. And then if they tune in or if they play on a casual basis, they spread that story out a little farther. There needs to be a balance. I feel like the long-term incentive grind is too far for that casual player.
Right.
And it would go faster for some of us crazy people who grind, but we're always going to burn through stuff too fast. But for like half of the player base, that's the point where I feel like they've set the bar too far, I think, to be reasonable. Long term is one thing, but I think it is too far to say in the middle of season 17, I finally got some of my season Risen weapons, because a lot of people, as soon as that new season comes out, the Psyops Battlegrounds is no longer going to be powerfuls, and it's then you're going back into the old stuff, which is a thing. So it's that's just my opinion, but I was just thinking about that one.
Yeah, but at least the casuals, as we call them, at least they're going to get the Sherpa emblem just by doing one raid. Have you seen that?
Yes, I did see that's given to everybody
really
now.
That grinded my gears.
I saw that, and I was even thinking about people like you, Mano. There's a lot of like Sherpas that we've actually had come through, and all of those that they enjoy that. And you guys have the prestige of doing that. Now you're like, well, it was kind of bugged, so everybody gets it, and you're going, you can't fix it later and look at the stats. No. So,
but if we moan about it, that makes us elitist. So
don't you dare. You know how they
You're not allowed to complain. You play the game too much to complain, Grandad. Sorry, man.
The last point I wanted to say, and I do agree with Grandad, as far as the grind and grinding, to me, the value is only in grinding for the perk combination that you want. Because as far as the enhancement part, we all agree that that's kind of a joke. But the thing that's really, really egregious for the new player is the expense. Let's say if you're a new player and you truly want to embrace crafting, right? Most new players don't have 400 legendary shards to go talk to, you know what I'm saying? To go talk to Raul to get the sourcing and where you can get it. And it's just not a new light friendly system. And for us, that's grinding. We're barely getting enough of the patterns enough as it is, right? So it's really off-putting to a new player. They've got to do a better job of figuring that part out. So at least they can start the grind, right? They have the cost to entry to if they wanted to experiment a little bit. So
yeah.
That's
random thing. Shout out to MRI Gamer. Have you talked about the frustration of the exotic glaive grind for other classes? So once you finish your evidence board and you craft your first one, it takes like 5 seconds. You have to live in Wellspring on like a 0.01% chance drop rate to get the other class patterns to just drop. Now, I actually got the Warlock one randomly and all of this other stuff I was doing. I may never see the Hunter one. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is... You pick one, and then the other two now become the worst RNG you could have, and it's just that's gonna burn you out on the activity, unfortunately.
And they're terrible as well.
Yeah, all the exotic glaives are not worth it.
They are terrible. They are just not worth it.
Yeah, you get like a baby bubble
I was having
that does
fun
nothing.
with mine. The baby bubble was fun, but I was thinking about like, is there a use case for this? In any mode where it would actually be good, and also they just fire too slowly.
Yeah,
it's so slow. Yeah.
And then the
Trevor's crazy.
Warlock one is the only one I can see doing something. Because you could literally plop down a little healing turret that's like sending out healing little bubbles, like the noble rounds. That's the only one I could see because you could drop it. It's not so small you can barely stand in it yourself, and then you get one lightning attack as a hunter. Like those two those need buff later on, or they were just basically a joke. So yeah, they're not worth grinding for on top of it. But if you do ever get it, you're like, cool, throw that in the vault.
Yeah.
Only other things they are known issues, and there's only just a few I want to mention. Armor offered by vendors and including Xur, thank God this will get is low stat rolls. They're like collections and they're all the same. So at some point Xur will get back to at least having a chance at some decent stuff, so that is good. They said players who go flawless in trials aren't receiving post-win weapons and rewards. That's major. So be careful if you have bad drops in there. Mementos are not dropping in trials. Totally forgot that was a thing. I thought they were also supposed to drop from the raid. Or is the memento going to be what you get? That's like the Gambit memento, where if you level it up to like 30, you get the custom shader.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I've not had one of them yet.
Yeah, I was like, I've run it 7 times, haven't seen one yet. So,
I've done the raid, 25, 26 times.
Jeez.
Not had one of them. That players who go flawless thing. A couple of friends of mine were playing on a 7-win flawless card and weren't getting the the extra adept weapons.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's
that could be part of it. So yeah, even trials is not on this week, and they are working on some of these in hopefully a future patch. But those were just a couple I wanted to shout out. But that's the most stuff from the TWAB. But the crafting, I know we went off on a tangent there, but that was the big thing. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about in the world of Destiny? Because I want to touch on basically one other completely separate topic before we go.
I'm good.
Yeah, just I'd like to register my displeasure at everyone getting that emblem once again, but apart from that, no.
I feel you. I feel you on that one. As a true raid Sherpa, yeah, the fact that everybody gets that one, that's not great.
Thank you. As long as it's been lodged, that's all. As long as my complaint's been lodged. Thank you.
The last thing, and this is completely different, so the Destiny people can maybe bail. But anybody watch the Harry Potter thing today?
Yeah.
Anybody a Harry Potter fan in here? I don't think Cog is, because listen to you and Maddie both be like, I don't care.
I don't care, but look amazing. That's all I got to say.
I was gonna say it does
look amazing.
Yeah, it does actually look. I was blown away by how much was in that thing. Did you see it, Grandad, or were you busy?
No, what is it?
So it's the Harry Potter Wizarding World. Legacy? It's Hogwarts Legacy. It's a single player action RPG built in the Harry Potter world, and it's like takes place in 1890s. So it's before any of the stories we've seen in the movies. Do you like the movies or the universe or anything? Or
I've never seen a Harry Potter movie.
Okay.
In
fairness, anyway, beautiful. Well, it looks like a really cool action RPG with more depth.
I was with the ladies.
There you go.
It makes the timeline make sense.
Something you wouldn't know about, E. Come on.
He's like, yeah, why I got to take the shot like that?
Damn.
Hole in the heart emblem. Hole in the heart. Hole in the heart.
Like, my wife is literally in the other room. So.
That was the call out. Shout out wifey though. Shout out to wife.
You weren't with the ladies because you were with the lady. You're so dedicated. Just like Destiny. You're a one-woman man. You know what I mean?
As I'm about to play Elden Ring tomorrow and cheat on my mistress. Yeah.
Cheat on my mistress. That's like next level.
Next level. You caught that? You caught that?
All I'm saying is, Granddad, you can't tie him down. He was out there just, he was multi-classing. Let's just call it that.
He was. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I had very low expectations for what this game could be, and it literally blew me away on every front. The fact that you've got going to class, getting sorted, you've got the potions, you're gonna have defense of the dark arts, then you've got combat on the grounds, and this is a day one play for me on the holidays. This just jumped way up the charts for me because it's holiday of 2022. And honestly, I don't expect God of War making it this time. And until I see more on Starfield, that's still a big question mark too. I just saw a 14-minute video on Hogwarts and I'm going, honestly, I'm really excited about it now. And I feel like I'm not going to put it on the level of The Witcher because I've never played the thing, but as much as they showed and as much was built out, I feel like it could be like a 100-hour RPG for a single player. It looks absolutely massive. Travis, what are your thoughts, since I know you saw it?
Yeah. Like I think the rest of the panel, I'm not really a Harry Potter guy. I remember Harry Potter the fad, when I was a kid. It was definitely like coming up, but I was already reading Lord of the Rings when Harry Potter happened. I was just a little bit more advanced in my reading, and I remember just like looking at the Harry Potter books and being like, these are kid books, like I'm reading about all this dope like Lord of the Rings super heavy stuff, and Harry Potter's kind of a little bit more lighthearted. So but that said, the world is very well built. It's perfect for an RPG, I think. Anytime where you're in school and you also have to do an adventure is kind of a dope format. And what they showed is really cool. I do have some stuff I'm worried about. Combat to me looked a little right? Like it's definitely Harry Pottery, but it looked a little And also the broom flying, I thought looked really bad in terms, especially the animation. Like the cloaks weren't moving at all and stuff like that. So, they've still got like 7 months to work on the game. I'm sure it'll be more polished, but I expected this game was going to be good when our friend Chandler, I think you know him too, Ebonthus, but Chandler, the guy who used to be the editor-in-chief for PlayStation Lifestyle magazine. He
actually looked up. Yeah, he was in there.
Yeah, he and I became really good friends because we were always covering Destiny together, and we met at Bungie headquarters. And then every couple months, we would go back to Bungie headquarters to see what the next thing was, and it was like a reunion. It was like, oh, I'm gonna get to see Chandler again, and we like hung out all the time. We're like legit friends, and we met through Destiny in person at Bungie headquarters. So, as soon as I saw he quit his cushy editor-in-chief job to go work for this game, I was like, this game's going to be something special, because he wouldn't have given that up for nothing. So super cool guy, and I'm actually excited for this game, even though it's not really my favorite world, Harry Potter or whatever. And I will say this: the people who are Harry Potter fans, they're exploding. I watched the reveal with my girlfriend, and she was like jumping up and down. All the animal petting and the fact that you get to choose your school, like all that stuff. She was just like, ah! Yeah. So it's they definitely know their audience super well. You can tell that the people making it are fans.
Yeah, so. I think that's what you saw in the stuff afterwards. Is the people making the game? They're like, for all the fans out there who love the series, we're those same people, and we made a game, and we put and it looks like they just wanted to make it for those people, and I'm just really excited. So that was just like a random thing I wanted to say at the end. Granddad, if you don't play other things, so yeah, no worries.
Yeah, just Destiny.
Just Destiny.
I'm afraid.
You are
marbles on stream on occasion.
Yep, I have seen that.
There you go.
Got those call outs.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty much all I've got. Granddad, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. And so I think my two co-hosts enjoyed it even more just because the intro, I don't know if I've seen their eyes light up and talking about like the graffiti and hip hop and everything. It was good times for everybody on the show. And I want to thank you. It was an absolute pleasure having you on tonight. And at this point, for anybody who hears the show now, later, or in the future, where can they find you? What can they find you doing? And how can they support you and all those types of things? The floor is yours.
Thank you. You can find me daily, apart from Mondays, on twitch.tv/GrandadGaming_. You can find me doing raid helps and GM helps, all PvE and game activity, whilst having some good laughs, dancing, and impersonating celebrities. Thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful. Love it, man. Great guest. Love the stories. The hip hop touch is so you talking real b-boy, real essence, real core stuff. So that's the era, man. And it's good to hear, people keeping that alive. Love the content, love the takes. Keep up the work, man. It's been really cool. It's just cool to see someone, from the generation just holding it down. Like, what I mean? I love that kind of stuff. You were good people. Jarvis, the homie, Hounds, I love those guys. So salute to the team as well. But yeah, great guest.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you. Trev, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis or read my articles, reviews, previews at IGN.com. My review of The Witch Queen is live. My next review is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which will be up on Wednesday. Yeah, if you care about gaming industry news, I do a show every Sunday morning called Bitcast that you can find at Seasoned Gaming. Yeah, it's been a super fun week. I'm really excited to see where Destiny goes and have 11 weeks of. It's also just been a crazy week in general. I don't know. Have you guys been reading the news? Like, apparently we're getting rid of daylight saving time finally.
Yeah, I saw that happening.
It's huge. It's going to be 2023 apparently.
The winter in Wisconsin is going to be really dark.
But we've been doing this real weird thing for a number of years, like 60 years, and we're finally going back to normal. So anyway, interesting stuff, but it's an exciting time to be a Destiny fan and a gamer in general. So how about you, Cog? What do you got going on? Saving any more children?
I think he's got a spicy defining Duke. You guys need to go get on that Last Word Patreon, because that one's. I want to hear this talk about perfect. The other topic I wanted to talk about, Perfect Dark's been a little spicy, so go listen.
Great conversation, great Halo conversation on Ultimate, great Perfect Dark conversation. Me and Maddie kind of getting in pocket, and it's been fun. So get a chance to check it out when you get a chance, or if you don't want to pay the Patreon on demand, you just wait till Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's free 99, but no, it's been cool. So go check that out with Defining Duke, and then Iron Lord podcast every Sunday is the Lord's Day. 1 p.m. Eastern with the homies, King, Addict, Solve, just taking it back to the essence, man. So it's going to be fun. And yeah, that's been pretty much it, man. Just been grinding, doing my thing. And E, what's been going on with you now that you free of Destiny?
Well, I mean, I'm still going to be covering Destiny and making videos on it. But as I said, tomorrow after my Xur video, probably early afternoon after I get a little lunch, Elden Ring until I sleep, and then Elden Ring pretty much all day Saturday. So I'm excited to get lost in that one. That's going to be a lot of my varieties. And I'm working on possibly second channel to upload all of that playthrough, because messing with the algorithm on YouTube is already just a dance with danger as it is in the first place. Yeah. And that would just be weird. So if I do want to work on just kind of maybe an Ebontis Plays channel, so all my gameplay can potentially go up there as an alternative. So trying to spread a little more and have a place to put it.
No doubt.
But I am
as a fellow blind Elden Ring runner, if you need any tips or hints without spoiling things, I'm your guy,
I've got finally one person in chat, Blackwings, he's usually in here, but I'm sure he'll catch this later. He said somehow, he's like, I didn't buy it. There's no charge on my credit card, but Elden Ring is now on my Xbox. I don't know how it happened to him, but I was like, I told him, I was like, play it. And it's his first Souls game, and he already can't be quiet about it. So
Game Pass works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, I was like, he tripped into some lottery, fell onto him. But but again, I wanted to thank you, Granddad, for coming in. It was an absolute pleasure. Been enjoying your content. The emotes from New Red and Rook, and there's the dancing emote lives in my channel a lot as well. So you are enjoyed many places with those wonderful. I got to work on some animated emotes, because yours is solid for sure.
Thank you.
But for this episode, it has been an absolute wonder having you on. Chat, you guys have been absolutely on fire tonight. Thank you guys so much. And for everybody in here, episode number 189, March 17th. For this episode, it has been
The Last Word.